Who's there?
Then, answer me! Stand and unfold yourself!
Long live the king!
Bernardo!
He!
You come most carefully upon your hour.
'Tis now struck 12. Get thee to bed, Francisco.
For this relief, much thanks. It is bitter cold and I'm sick at heart.
Have you had quiet, guard?
What a most doing.
Well, good night. If you meet Horatio and Marcellus, the rivals of my watch, bid them make haste.
I think I hear them. Stand! Who's there?
Friends to this ground!
And liegemen to the day.
Give you good night.
Farewell, honest soldier. Who hath relieved you?
Bernardo has my place. Give you good night.
Hola, Bernardo.
What, is Horatio there?
A piece of him.
Welcome, Horatio. Welcome, good Marcellus.
Has this thing appeared again tonight?
I've seen nothing.
Horatio says 'tis but our fantasy, and will not let belief take hold of him, touching this dreaded sight twice seen of us. Therefore, I have entreated him along with us to watch the minutes of this night, that if again this apparition come, he may approve our eyes and speak to it.
'Twill not appear.
Sit down a while and let us once again assail your ears that are so fortified against our story what we two nights have seen.
Well, sit we down and let us hear Bernardo speak of this.
Last night of all, when yon same star that's westward from the pole had made his course to illume that part of heaven where now it burns, Marcellus and myself, the bell then beating one,
The elf, look where it comes again.
in the same figure like the king that's dead.
Thou art a scholar, speak to it, Horatio.
Was it not like the king? Mark it, Horatio.
Most like it harrows me with fear and wonder.
It would be spoke to.
Question it, Horatio.
What art thou that usurps this time of night, together with that fair and warlike form in which the majesty of buried Denmark did sometimes march? By heaven, I charge thee, speak.
It is offended.
See, it stalks away.
Stay, speak, speak, I charge thee, speak.
It is gone and will not answer.
How now, Horatio? You tremble and look pale. 'Tis not this something more than fantasy? What think you want?
Oh my God, I might not disbelieve without the sensible and true avouch of mine own eyes.
Is it not like the king?
Thou art to thyself. Such was the very armour he had on when he the ambitious Norway combated. So frowned he once when in an angry parle he smote his leaded poleaxe on the eyes. 'Tis strange.
Thus, twice before, and just at this dead hour, with martial stalk hath he gone by our watch.
What particular thought to work, I know not. But in the gross and scope of my opinion, this bodes some strange eruption to our state.
Good now, sit down and tell me, he that knows, why the same strict and most observant watch so nightly toils the subject of the land, and with such daily cast of brazen cannon and foreign mart for implements of war, why such impress of shipwrights whose sore task does not divide the Sunday from the week? What might be toward that this sweaty haste doth make the night joint labourer with the day? Huh? Who is that can inform me?
Aye. At least the whisper goes so. Our last king, whose image even but now appeared to us, was, as you know, by Fortinbras of Norway, dead to the combat in which our valiant Hamlet did slay this Fortinbras, who by a sealed compact
Did forfeit with his life all those which he stood seized of to the conqueror. Now, sir, young Fortinbras, his son, hath in the skirts of Norway here and there sharked up a list of lawless resolutes, for to recover of us by strong hand in terms compulsory those foresaid lands so by his father lost. And this, I take it, is the main motive of our preparations, the source of this our watch, and the chief head of this post-haste and rummage in the land.
I think it be no other. But e'en so, well may it sort that this portentous figure comes marching through our watch, so like the king, that was and is the question of these wars.
A mote it is, to trouble the mind's eye.
Soft, behold, lo, where it comes again.
I'll cross it, though it blast me. Stay, illusion. If thou hast any sound or use of voice, speak to me. If there be any good thing to be done, that may to thee do ease and grace to me, speak to me. If thou art privy to thy country's fate, which happily foreknowing may avoid, oh, speak! Speak of it! Stay and speak! Stop it, Marcellus!
Shall I go my partisan?
Do if it will not stand!
'Tis gone. We do it wrong, being so majestical, to offer it the show of violence, for it is as the air invulnerable, and our vein blows malicious mockery.
It was about to speak when the cock crowed.
And then it started like a guilty thing upon a fearful summons. Break we our watch up, and by my advice, let us impart what we have seen tonight unto young Hamlet. For upon my life, this spirit, dumb to us, will speak to him.
Let's do it, I pray. And I this morning know where we shall find him most conveniently.
Though yet of Hamlet, our dear brother's death, the memory be green, and that it us befitted to bear our hearts in grief, and our whole kingdom to be contracted in one brow of woe, yet so far hath discretion fought with nature, that we with wisest sorrow think on him, together with remembrance of ourselves. Therefore, our sometime sister, now our queen, the imperial jointress to this warlike state, have we, as it were, with a defeated joy, with mirth in funeral, and with dirge in marriage, in equal scale, weighing delight and dole, taken to wife. Nor have we herein barred your better wisdoms, which have freely gone with this affair along. For all our thanks. Now follows that you know, young Fortinbras, holding a weak supposal of our worth, or thinking by our late dear brother's death, our state to be disjoint and out of frame, he hath not failed to pester us with message, importing the surrender of those lands lost by his father to our most valiant brother. So much for him. Now for ourselves, and for this time of meeting, thus much the business is. We have here writ to Norway, uncle of young Fortinbras, and we here dispatch you, Voltimon, for bearer of this greeting to old Norway, giving to you no further personal power to business with the king, more than the scope of those related articles allow. Farewell, and let your haste commend your duty.
In that and in all things will I show my duty.
Without it nothing, heartily farewell. And now, Laertes, what's the news with you? You told us of some suit. What is it, Laertes? You cannot speak of reason to the Dane and lose your voice. What wouldst thou beg, Laertes? The head is not more native to the heart, the hand more instrumental to the mouth, than is the throne of Denmark to thy father. What wouldst thou have, Laertes?
Dread my lord, you leave in favour to return to France, from whence, though willingly I came to Denmark to show my duty in your coronation, yet now I must confess that duty done, my thoughts and wishes bend again toward France, and bow them to your gracious leave and pardon.
Have you your father's leave? What says Polonius?
He hath, my lord, wrung from me my slow leave by laboursome petition, and at last upon his will I sealed my hard consent. I do beseech you, give him leave to go.
Take thy fair hour, Laertes, time be thine, and thy best graces, spend it at thy will. And now, our cousin Hamlet, and our son.
A little more than kin and less than kind.
How is it that the clouds still hang on you?
Not so, my lord. I am too much in the sun.
Good Hamlet, cast thy knighted colour off, and let thine eye look like a friend on Denmark. Do not forever with thy veiled lids seek for thy noble father in the dust. Thou know'st 'tis common, all that lives must die, passing through nature to eternity.
Ay, madam, 'tis common.
If it be, why seems it so particular with thee?
Seems. Madam, nay, it is. I know not seems. 'Tis not alone my inky cloak, good mother, nor customary suits of solemn black, nor windy suspiration of forced breath, no, nor the fruitful river in the eye, nor the dejected behaviour of the visage, together with all forms, moods, shows of grief that can denote me truly. These indeed seem, for they are actions that a man might play. But I have that within which passeth show, these but the trappings and the suits of woe.
'Tis sweet and commendable in your nature, Hamlet, to give these mourning duties to your father. But you must know, your father lost a father. That father lost his, and the survival bound in filial obligation for some term to do obsequious sorrow. But to persevere in obstinate condolement is a cause of impious stubbornness. 'Tis unmanly grief. It shows a will most incorrect to heaven. a heart unfortified, a mind impatient, an understanding simple and unschooled. For what we know must be and is as common as any the most vulgar thing to sense. Why should we, in our peevish opposition, take it to heart? Fie! 'Tis a fault to heaven, a fault against the dead, a fault to nature, to reason most absurd, whose common theme is death of fathers, and who still hath cried from the first corpse till he that died today. This must be so. We pray you, throw to earth this unprevailing woe, and think of us as of a father. For let the world take note, you are the most immediate to our throne, and with no less nobility of love than that which dearest father bears his son, do I impart towards you. For your intent in going back to school in Wittenberg, it is most retrograde to our desire, and we beseech you, bend you to remain here in the cheer and comfort of our eye, our chiefiest courtier, cousin, and our son.
Let not thy mother lose her prayers, Hamlet. I pray you, stay with us. Go not to Wittenberg.
I shall in all my best obey you, madam.
Why, 'tis a loving and a fair reply. Be as ourself in Denmark. Come, madam, this gentle and enforced accord of Hamlet sits smiling to my heart. Come away.
Oh, that this too solid flesh would melt, thaw, and resolve itself into a dew. Or that the everlasting had not fixed his canon gainst self-slaughter. Oh, God! Oh, God! How weary, stale, flat, and unprofitable seem to me all the uses of this world. Fie on it! Oh, fie! Fie! 'Tis an unweeded garden that grows to seed. Things rank and gross in nature possess it merely. And it should come to this! But 2 months dead. Nay, not so much. Not 2. So excellent a king that was to this. Hyperion to a satyr. So loving to my mother that he might not beteem the winds of heaven visit her face too roughly. Heaven and earth must I remember. Why, she would hang on him as if increase of appetite had grown by what it fed on. And yet, within a month, let me not think on it. Frailty, thy name is a little month. For ere those shoes were old with which she followed my poor father's body, like Niobe, old tears, why, she, oh, even she, oh God, a beast that wants discourse of reason would have mourned longer. Married my uncle, my father's brother, but no more like my father than I to Hercules. Within a month, ere yet the salt of most unrighteous tears had left the flushing in her galled eyes, she married. Oh, most wicked speed, to boast with such dexterity to incestuous sheets. It is not, nor it cannot come to good. Break my heart, for I must hold my tongue.
Hail to your lordship.
I'm glad to see you well. Horatio, or I do forget myself.
The same, my lord, and your poor servant ever.
Sir, my good friend, I'll change that name with you. Then what make you from Wittenberg, Horatio? Marcellus.
My good lord.
I am very glad to see you. Good even, sir. But what, in faith, make you from Wittenberg?
A true disposition, good my lord.
I would not hear your enemy say so, nor shall you do mine ear that violence to make a truster of your own report against yourself. I know you are no truant. But what is your affair in Elsinore? And we'll teach you to drink deep ere you depart.
My lord, I came to see your father's funeral.
I pray thee, do not mock me, fellow student. I think it was to see my mother's wedding.
Indeed, my lord, it followed hard upon.
Thrift, Horatio. The funeral baked meats did coldly furnish forth the marriage tables. Would I had met my dearest foe in heaven ere I had ever seen that day, Horatio. Oh, my father. Methinks I see my father.
Where, my lord?
My mind's eye, Horatio.
I saw him once. He was a goodly king.
He was a man. Take him for all in all. I shall not look upon his like again.
My lord, I think I saw him yesternight.
Saw? Who?
My lord, the king, your father.
The king, my father?
Season your admiration for a while with an attent ear, till I may deliver upon the witness of these gentlemen this marvel to you.
For God's love, let me hear.
2 nights together. Had these gentlemen, Marcellus and Bernardo, on their watch in the dead waste and middle of the night, been thus encountered, a figure like your father appeared before them, and with solemn march goes slow and stately by them thrice. He walked by their oppressed and fear surprised eyes within his truncheon's length, whilst they, distilled almost to jelly with the act of fear, stand dumb and speak not to him. This to me in dreadful secrecy in part they did, and I with them the 3rd night kept the watch, where, as they had delivered both in time, form of the thing, each word made true and good, the apparition comes. I knew your father. These hands are not more like.
But where was this?
My lord, upon the platform where we watched.
Do you not speak to
My
it?
lord, I did, but answer made it none. Yet once methought it lifted up its head and did address itself to motion, like as it would speak. But even then the morning cock crew loud, and at the sound it shrunk in haste away and vanished from our sight.
'Tis very strange.
As I do live, my honoured lord, 'tis true. And we did think it writ down in our duty to let you know of it.
Indeed, sirs, but this troubles me. Hold you the watch tonight?
We
do, my lord.
What looked he? Frowningly?
A countenance more in sorrow than in anger.
And fixed his eyes upon you?
Most constantly.
Would I had been there.
It would have much amazed you.
Very like. Stayed it long?
While one with moderate haste might tell 100.
Longer.
Not when I saw it.
I will watch tonight. Perchance 'twill walk again.
I warrant you it will.
If it assume my noble father's person, I'll speak to it, though hell itself should gape and bid me hold my peace. I pray you all, if you have hitherto concealed this sight, let it be tenable in your silence still. And whatsoever I shall have tonight, give it an understanding, but no tongue. I will requite your loves. So, fare you well. Upon the platform twixt 11 and 12, I'll visit you.
Our duty to your honour.
Your loves is mine to you. Farewell. My father's spirit walks. All is not well. Would the night were come. Till then, sit still, my soul. Foul deeds will rise, though all the earth overwhelm them to men's eyes.
My necessaries are embarked. Farewell. And, sister, as the winds give benefit and convoy is assistant, do not sleep, but let me hear from you.
Do you doubt that?
For Hamlet, and the trifling of his favour, hold it a fashion, sweet, not lasting, no more.
No more, but so.
Think it no more. Perhaps he loves you now, but you must fear. His greatness weighed, his will is not his own, for he himself is subject to his birth. He may not, as unvalued persons do, choose for himself, for on his choice depends the sanity and health of this whole state. Therefore must his choice be circumscribed unto the voice and yielding of that body whereof he is the head. Then, if he says he loves you, it fits your wisdom so far to believe it, as he in his particular act and place may give his saying deed, which is no further than the main voice of Denmark goes withal, then weigh what loss your honour may sustain. If with too credent ear you list his songs, or lose your heart, or your chaste treasure open to his unmastered importunity. Fear it, Ophelia, fear it, my dear sister, and keep you in the rear of your affection, out of the shot and danger of desire.
I shall this effect, this good lesson keep, as watchman to my heart. But, good my brother, do not, as some ungracious pastors do, show me the steep and thorny way to heaven, whilst like a puffed and reckless libertine, himself the primrose path of dalliance treads.
I stay too long, but here my father comes.
Yet here, Laertes, a board for shame. The wind sits in the shoulder of your sail, and you are stayed for. There, my blessing with thee. And these few precepts in thy memory, look thou character. Give thy thoughts no tongue, nor any unproportioned thought his act. Be thou familiar, but by no means vulgar. Those friends thou hast, and their adoption tried, grapple them to thy soul with hoops of steel, but do not dull thy palm with entertainment of each new-hatched, unfledged comrade. Beware of entrance to a quarrel, but being in, bear it that the opposed may beware of thee. Give every man thine ear, but few thy voice. Take each man's censure, but reserve thy judgment. Costly thy habit as thy purse can buy, and not expressed in fancy, rich, not gaudy. For the apparel oft proclaims the man. Neither a borrower nor a lender be, for loan oft loses both itself and friend, and borrowing dulls the edge of husbandry. This, above all, to thine own self be true, and it must follow as the night the day. Thou canst not then be false to any man. Farewell. My blessing, season this in thee.
Most humbly do I take my leave, my lord.
The time invites you. Go, your servants tend.
Farewell, and Ophelia, remember well what I've said to you.
'Tis in my memory locked, and you yourself shall keep the key of it.
Farewell.
What is Ophelia hath said to you?
So please you something touching the Lord Hamlet.
Marry, well bethought. 'Tis told me he hath very oft of late given private time to you, and you yourself have of your audience been most free and bounteous. If it be so, as so 'tis put on me, and that in way of caution, I must tell you, you do not understand yourself so clearly as it behoves my daughter and your honour. What is between you? Give me up the truth.
He hath, my lord, of late made many tenders of his affection to me.
Affection? You speak like a green girl, unsifted in such perilous circumstance. Do you believe his tenders, as you call them?
I do not know, my lord, what I should think.
Mary, I will teach you. Think yourself a baby that you have ta'en his tenders for true pay, which are not sterling. Tender yourself more dearly, or, not to crack the wind of the poor phrase, running it thus, you'll tender me a fool.
My lord, he hath importuned me with love in honourable fashion.
Aye, fashion you may call it. Go to.
And hath given countenance to his speech with almost all the holy vows of heaven.
Aye, springes to catch woodcocks. I do know, when the blood burns, how prodigal the soul lends the tongue vows. These blazes, daughter, giving more light than heat, extinct in both, you must not take for fire. From this time, daughter, be somewhat scanter of your maiden presence. For Lord Hamlet believes so much in him that he is young, and with a larger tether may he walk than may be given you. In few, Ophelia, do not believe his vows. This is for all. I would not, in plain terms, from this time forth, have you so slander any moment's leisure as to give words or talk with the Lord Hamlet. Look to it, I charge you. Come your ways.
I shall obey, my lord.
The air bites shrewdly, it is very cold.
It is a nipping and an eager air.
What hour now?
I think it lacks of 12.
No, it is struck.
Indeed, I feared it not. Then it draws near the season wherein the spirit held its wont to walk.
What does this mean, my lord?
The king doth wake tonight, takes his rouse, keeps wassails and the swaggering upspring reels, and as he drains his draught of Rhenish down, kettle, drum and trumpet thus spray out the triumph of his pledge.
Is it a custom?
Aye, marry ist, but to my mind, though I'm native here and to the manor born, it is a custom more honoured in the breach than the observance. This heavy-headed revel east and west makes us traduced and taxed of other nations. They clip us drunkards, and with swinish phrase soil our addition, and indeed, takes away from achievements.
Look, my lord, it comes.
Angels and ministers of grace defend us. Be thou a spirit of health or goblin damned. Bring with thee airs from heaven or blasts from hell. Thou comest in such a questionable shape that I will speak to thee. I'll call thee Hamlet, King, Father, Royal Dame. Answer me! Let me not burst in ignorance, but tell why thy canonized bones, hearsed in death, have birthed their cerements. Why this sepulchre wherein we sorely quietly inert hath oped his ponderous and marble jaws to cast thee up again. What may this mean, that thou, dead corse, again as in thy life, revisits thus the glimpses of the moon? Say, why is this? Wherefore? What should we do?
It beckons you to go away with it.
Do not go with it.
No, by no means.
I will not speak then, I will follow it.
Do not, my lord.
Why? What should be the fear? I do not set my life at a pin's fee, and for my soul, what can it do to that being a thing immortal as itself? It waves me forth again, I'll follow it.
What if it tempts you towards a flood, my lord? Or to the dreadful summit of a cliff, and there assume some other horrible form which might deprive your sovereignty of reason and draw you into madness? Think on it. The very place puts toys of desperation without more motive into every brain that looks so many fathoms to the sea and hears it roar beneath.
It waves me still. Go on, I'll follow thee.
You shall not go, my lord.
Hold off your hand.
You ruled, you shall not go.
My fate cries out, still I am called, unhand me, gentlemen. By heavens, I'll make a ghost of him that lets me. I say away. Go on. I'll follow thee.
He waxes desperate with imagination.
Let's follow. 'Tis not fit thus to obey him.
Have after. To what issue will this come?
Something is rotten in the state of Denmark.
Heaven will direct it.
Nay, let's follow him.
Where wilt thou lead me? Speak, I'll go no further.
Mark me.
I will.
My hour is almost come, and I to sulphurous and tormenting flames must render up myself.
Alas, poor ghost.
Pity me not, but lend thy serious hearing to what I shall unfold.
Speak, I am bound to hear.
So art thou to revenge when thou shalt hear?
What?
I am thy father's spirit, doomed for a certain term to walk the night, and for the day confined to fast and fires, till the foul crimes done in my days of nature are burnt and purged away. But that I am forbid. To tell the secrets of my prison house, I could a tale unfold whose lightest word would harrow up thy soul, freeze thy young blood, make thy two eyes like stars start from their spheres, thy knotted and combined locks to part, and each particular hair to stand on end like quills upon the fretful porpentine. But this eternal blazon must not be to ears of flesh and blood. List, Hamlet, oh, list. If thou didst ever thy dear father love,
Oh, God.
revenge his foul and most unnatural murder.
Murder?
Murder, most foul, as in the best it is, but this most foul, strange and unnatural.
Oh, haste me to know it, that I with wings as swift as meditation nor the thoughts of love may sweep to my revenge.
Now, Hamlet, here. 'Tis given out that sleeping in my orchard, a serpent stung me. So the whole ear of Denmark is by a forged process of my death rankly abused. But know, thou noble youth, the serpent that did sting thy father's life now wears his crown.
Oh, my prophetic soul, my uncle.
I, that incestuous, that adulterate beast, with witchcraft of his wits, with traitorous gifts, won to his shameful lust. the will of my most seeming virtuous queen. Oh, Hamlet, what a falling off was there. From me, whose love was of that dignity, that it went hand in hand even with the vow I made to her in marriage, and to decline upon a wretch whose natural gifts were poor to those of mine. But soft methinks I scent the morning air. Brief let me be, sleeping in my orchard, my custom always in the afternoon. Upon my secure hour, thy uncle stole, with juice of cursed heaven in a vial, and in the porches of my ear did pour the leprous distilment, whose effect holds such an enmity with blood of man, that swift as quicksilver it courses through the natural gates and alleys of the body. Thus was I sleeping by a brother's hand, of life, of crown, of queen, at once dispatched, cut off even in the blossoms of my sin, no reckoning made, but sent to my account with all my imperfections on my head. Oh, horrible, horrible, most horrible. If thou hast nature in thee, bear it not. Let not the royal bed of Denmark be a couch for luxury and damned incest. But howsoever thou pursuest this act, taint not thy mind, nor let thy soul contrive against thy mother aught. Leave her to heaven, and to those thorns that in her bosom lodge to prick and sting her. Fare thee well at once. The glowworm shows the matin to be near, and gins to pale his uneffectual fire. Adieu. Adieu, Hamlet. Remember me.
All you host of heaven! Oh, earth! What else? And shall I couple hell? Oh, fie. Hold my heart, and you, my sinews, grow not instant old, but bear me stiffly up. Remember thee, I, thou poor ghost, while memory holds a seat in this distracted globe. Remember thee, yeah, from the table of my memory, I'll wipe away all trivial fond records, all sores of books, all forms, all pressures past that youth and observation copied there. And thy commandment, all alone, shall live within the book and volume of my brain, unmixed with baser matter. Yes, by heaven! Oh, most pernicious woman! Oh, villain! Villain, smiling, damned villain, my tables, meet it is, I set it down, that one may smile and be a villain. At least I'm sure it may be so in Denmark. So, uncle, there you are. And now to my word, it is adieu, adieu. Remember me?
My lord, my lord!
I've sworn it.
Lord Hamlet!
Heaven secure him!
So be it.
How is it, my noble lord?
What news, my lord?
Oh, wonderful.
Good, my lord. Tell it.
No, you'll reveal it.
Not I, my lord. By heaven!
Nor I, my lord.
How say you then? Good heart of man once think it. But you'll be secret.
Aye. By heaven, my lord.
There's ne'er a villain dwelling in all Denmark, but he's an arrant knave.
And he's no ghost, my lord, come from the grave to tell us this.
Quite right, you're in the right. And so, without more circumstance at all, I hold it fit that we shake hands and part You as your business and desire shall point you, for every man has business and desire, such as it is, and for mine own poor part, look you, I'll go pray.
These are but wild and whirling words, my lord.
Sorry if they offend you heartily, yes, faith heartily.
There's no offence, my lord.
Yes, by St. Patrick, but there is, Horatio, and much offence too. Touching this vision here, it is an honest ghost, that let me tell you. For your desire to know what is between us, or master it, as you may. And now, good friends, as you are friends, scholars and soldiers, give me one poor request.
What is it, my lord? We will.
Never make known what you've seen tonight.
My
lord, we will not.
Nay, but swear it.
In faith, my lord, not I.
Nor I, my lord, in faith.
Upon my sword.
We have sworn, my lord, already.
Indeed, upon my sword, indeed.
Swear!
Come on, you hear this fellow, consent to swear.
Propose the oath, my lord.
Never to speak of this that you have seen, swear by my sword.
Swear!
Never to speak of this that you have heard, swear by my sword.
Oh, day and night, but this is wondrous strange.
And therefore, as a stranger, give it welcome. There are more things in heaven and earth, Horatio, than are dreamt of in our philosophy. Nay, come, hear us before. Never, so help you mercy, so strange or odd, so ere I bear myself, as I perchance hereafter shall think meet to put an antic disposition on, that you at such times, seeing me, never shall, with arms encumbered thus, or this head shake, or by pronouncing of some doubtful phrases, well, we know, or we could, and if we would, or if we list to speak, or there be, and if there might, or any such ambiguous giving out to note that you know aught of me. That's not to do. So grace and mercy at your most need help you. Swear.
Swear!
Rest, perturbed spirit. So, gentlemen, with all my love I do commend me to you, and what so poor a man as Hamlet is may do to express his love and friending to you, God willing, shall not lack. Let us go in together, and still your fingers on your lips, I pray. The time is out of joint. Oh, cursed spite that ever I was born to set it right. Nay, come, let's go together.
Give him this money and these notes, Ronaldo.
I will, my lord.
You shall do marvellous wisely, good Ronaldo, before you visit him to make inquiry of his behaviour.
My lord, I did intend it.
Marry, well said, very well said. Look you, sir, inquire me first what Danskas are in Paris, and how and who, what means, and where they keep, what company, at what expense, and finding by this encompassment and drift of question that they do know my son, come you more nearer. Take you as 'twere some distant knowledge of him, as thus, I know his father and his friends, and in part him, but, do you mark this, Ronaldo?
Very well, my lord.
And in part him, but, as you may say, not well, but if it be he, I mean he's very wild, addicted so-and-so, and there put on him what forgeries you please. Marry, none so rank as may dishonour him, take heed of that. But, sir, such wanton, wild, unusual slips as our companions noted and most known to youth and liberty.
As gaming? What?
Aye, or drinking, fencing, swearing, quarrelling, drabbing, you may go so far.
My lord, that would dishonour him.
Faith, no, as you may season it in the charge. You must not put another scandal on him. That's not my meaning.
But my good lord...
Wherefore should you do this?
My lord, I would know that.
Marry, here's my drift. You laying these slight sallies on my son, your party and converse, him you would sound, having ever seen in the predominant crimes the youth you breathe of guilty, be assured he closes with you in this consequence. Good sir, or so, or friend, or gentleman.
Very good, my lord.
And then, sir, does he this. What was I about to say? By the mass, I was about to say something. Where did I leave?
closes in consequence, or friend, or so, and gentleman.
Closes in the consequence, marry. Be assured he closes with you thus. I know the gentleman. I saw him yesterday or the other day with such or such, and yes, as you say, there was he gaming. Or, perchance, I saw him enter a house of sale, a brothel, or so forth. See you now. Your bait of falsehood takes this cup of truth, and thus do we of wisdom and of reach, by indirections, find directions out. So, by my former lecture and advice, shall you, my son, you have me, have you not?
I have, my lord.
God be with you. Fare you well.
Good, my lord.
Observe his inclination in yourself.
I will, my lord.
And let him play his music.
Well, my lord.
Farewell. How now, Ophelia, what's the matter?
Oh, my lord. My lord, I've been so frightened.
With what? In the name of heaven?
My lord, as I was sewing in my chamber, Lord Hamlet, with his doublet all unbraced, and a look so piteous and purport as if he had been loosed out of hell to speak of horrors, he comes before me.
Mad for thy love.
My lord, I do not know, but truly I do fear it.
What did he say?
He took me by the wrist and held me hard. Then goes he to the length of all his arm, and with his other hand thus over his brow, he falls to such perusal of my face as he would draw it. Long stayed he so. At last, a little shaking of mine arm, he raised a sigh so piteous and profound as it did seem to shatter all his bulk and end his being. That done, he lets me go, and with his head over his shoulder turned, he seemed to find his way without his eyes, for out of doors they went without their help, until the last bended their light on me.
Come, go with me. I will go seek the king. This is the very ecstasy of love, whose violent property fordoes itself and leads the will to desperate undertakings. What, have you given him any hard words of late?
No, my good lord, but as you did command, I did repel his letters and denied his access to me.
That have made him mad. I am sorry, that with better heed and judgment I had not quoted him. I feared he did but trifle and meant to wreck thee, but beshrew my jealousy. Come, go with me. This must be known. Come.
Welcome, dear Rosencrantz and Guildenstern. Moreover, that we much did long to see you. The need we have to use you did provoke our hasty sending. Something have you heard of Hamlet's transformation, so call it? Since not the exterior, nor the inward man resembles that it was. What it should be more than his father's death, that thus have put him so much from the understanding of himself, I cannot dream of. I entreat you both, that being of so young days brought up with him, and since so neighboured to his youth and humour, that you vouchsafe your rest here in our court some little time, so by your companies to draw him unto pleasures, and to gather so much as from occasions you may glean, whether aught to us unknown afflicts him thus, that open lies within our remedy.
Good gentleman, he hath much talked of you, and sure I am 2 men there not living to whom he more adheres. If it will please you to show us so much gentry and goodwill as to expend your time with us a while, for the supply and profit of our hopes, your visitation shall receive such thanks as fits a king's remembrance.
Both your majesties might, by the sovereign power you have of us, put your dread pleasures more into command than to entreaty.
But we both obey, and here give up ourselves in the full band to lay our service freely at your feet to be commanded.
Thanks, dear Rosencrantz and gentle Guildenstern.
Thanks, Guildenstern and gentle Rosencrantz. And I beseech you instantly to visit my too much changed son. Go, bring this gentleman where Hamlet is.
Heavens make our presence and our practices pleasant and helpful to him.
Aye, amen.
The ambassador from Norway, my good lord, is joyfully returned.
Thou still hast been the father of good news.
Have I? My good lord, I assure you, my liege, I hold my duty as I hold my soul, both to my God and my gracious king. And I do think, or else this brain of mine hunts not the trail of policy so sure as it hath used to do, that I have found the very cause of Hamlet's lunacy.
Oh, speak of that. That do I long to hear.
Give first admittance to the ambassador. My news shall be the fruit to that great feast.
Thyself do grace to him, and bring him in. He tells me, my dear Gertrude, he hath found the head and source of all your son's distemper.
I doubt it is no other but the main, his father's death and our hasty marriage.
Well, we shall sift him. Welcome, my good friend. Say, Voltimand, what from our brother Norway?
Most fair return of greetings and desires. Upon our first, he sent out to suppress his nephew's levies, which to him appeared to be a preparation against the Polacks, but better looked into, he truly found it was against your highness. Whereat grieved, that falsely born in hand, sends out arrests on Fortinbras, which he in brief obeys, receives rebukes from Norway, and, in fine, makes vow before his uncle nevermore to give the assay of arms against your majesty. Whereon old Norway, overcome with joy, gives him 3,000 crowns in annual fee and his commission to employ those soldiers so levied as before against the Polack, with an entreaty herein further shown, that it might please your majesty to give quiet pass through your dominions for this enterprise, on such regards of safety and allowance as therein are set down.
It likes us, well, at our more considered time, we'll read, answer, and think upon this business. Meantime, we thank you for your well-took labor. Go to your rest. At night we'll feast together. Most welcome home.
This business is well ended. My liege and madam, to expostulate what majesty should be, what duty is, why day is day, night, night, and time is time, were nothing but to waste night, day, and time. Therefore, since brevity is the soul of wit, and tediousness the limbs and outward flourishes, I will be brief. Your noble son is mad. Mad, call I it, for to define true madness, what is but to be nothing else but mad. But let that go.
More matter with less art.
Madam, I swear I use no art at all. That he is mad, 'tis true. 'Tis true, 'tis pity, and pity it is, 'tis true. A foolish figure, but farewell it, for I will use no art. Mad, let us grant him, then, and now remains that we find the cause of this effect, or rather say cause of this defect, for this effect, defective, comes by cause. Thus it remains, and the remainder thus. Perpend. I have a daughter, have while she is mine, who in her duty and obedience, mark, hath given me this. Now gather and surmise. To the celestial and my soul's idol, the most beautified Ophelia. That's an ill phrase, a vile phrase, beautified's a vile phrase. But you shall hear thus. In her excellent white bosom, these...
Came this from Hamlet to her?
Good madam, stay a while, I will be faithful. Doubt thou the stars are fire, doubt that the sun doth move, doubt truth to be a liar, but never doubt I love. O dear Ophelia, I am ill at these numbers. I have not art to reckon my groans, but that I love thee best, O most best, believe it. Adieu, thine evermore most dear lady, whilst this machine is to him, Hamlet. This in obedience hath my daughter shown me, and more above hath his solicitings, as they fell out by time, by means, by place, all given to mine ear.
But how hath she received his love?
What do you think of me?
As of a man faithful and honourable.
I would fain prove so. But what might you think when I had seen this hot love on the wing, as I perceived it? I must tell you that before my daughter told me. What might you, or my dear majesty, your queen here, think if I had played the desk, or table book, or given my heart a winking, mute and dumb, or looked upon this love with idle sight? What might you think? No. I went round to work, and my young mistress thus did I bespeak, Lord Hamlet is a prince out of thy star. This must not be. And then I precepts gave her that she should lock herself from his resort, admit no messengers, receive no tokens, which done, she took the fruits of my advice, and he, repulsed, a short tale to make, fell into a sadness, then into a watch, thence to a fast, thence to a weakness, thence to a lightness, and by this declension into the madness, wherein now he raves, and all we mourn for.
Do you think 'tis this?
It may be, very likely.
Hath there been such a time, I'd fain know that, when I have positively said 'tis so, when it proved otherwise?
Not that I know.
Take this from this, if this be otherwise. If circumstances lead me, I will find where truth is hid, though it were hid indeed within the centre.
How may we try it further?
You know, sometimes he walks 4 hours together here in the lobby.
So he does, indeed.
At such a time I'll loose my daughter to him. Be you and I behind an arras then, mark the encounter. If he love her not, and be not from his reason fallen thereon, let me be no assistant for estate, but keeper, farm, and carters.
Well, we'll try it.
But look where sadly the poor wretch comes reading.
Away? I do beseech you both, away. Oh, give me leave. How does my good lord Hamlet?
Well, God of mercy.
Do you know me, my lord?
Excellent. Well, you are a fishmonger.
Not I, my lord.
And I would you were so honest a man.
Honest, my lord?
Aye, sir. To be honest as this world goes is to be one man picked out of 10,000.
That's very true, my lord.
For if the sun breed maggots in a dead dog... Have you a daughter?
I have, my lord.
Let her not walk in the sun. Conception is a blessing, but not as your daughter may conceive. Friend, look to it.
How say you by that? Still harping on my daughter? Yet he knew me not at first. He said I was a fishmonger. He's far gone, far gone. Very truly, in my youth I suffered much extremity for love, very near this. I'll speak to him again. What do you read, my lord?
Words. Words. Words.
What is the matter, my lord?
Between who?
I mean the matter that you read, my lord.
Slanders, sir. For the satirical rogue says here that old men have a plentiful lack of wit, together with most weak hams. The which, sir, though I most powerfully and potently believe, yet I hold it not honesty to have it thus set down. For you yourself, sir, should be old as I am, if like a crab you could go backward.
Though this be madness, yet there's method in it. Will you walk out of the air, my lord?
Into my grave.
Indeed, that is out of the air. How pregnant sometimes his replies are. A happiness that madness often hits on, which reason and sanity could not so prosperously be delivered of. I will leave him, and suddenly contrive the means of meeting between him and my daughter. My honoured lord, I most humbly take my leave of you.
You cannot, sir, take from me anything that I will more willingly part with all, except my life. Except my life.
Very well, my lord.
These tedious old fools.
My honored lord.
My most dear lord.
My excellent good friends. How dost thou, Guildenstern? Oh, Rosencrantz. Good lads, how do you both?
As the indifferent children of the earth.
Happy, that we're not over happy.
What's the news?
None, but that the world's grown honest.
Then it's doomsday near. But your news is not true. Let me question more in particular. What have you, my good friends, deserved at the hands of fortune that she sends you to prison hither?
Prison, my lord?
Denmark's a prison.
Then is the world one?
A goodly one, in which there are many confines, wards, and dungeons, Denmark being one of the worst.
You think not so, my lord.
Why then, 'tis none to you. For there's nothing either good or bad, but thinking makes it so. To me, it is a prison.
Why then, your ambition makes it one. 'Tis too narrow for your mind.
God, I could be bounded in a nutshell and count myself a king of infinite space, were it not that I have bad dreams. Shall we to the court? For by my faith I cannot reason.
We'll wait upon you!
No such matter. I will not sort you with the rest of my servants. For to speak to you like an honest man, I am most dreadfully attended. But in the beaten way of friendship, what make you at Elsinore?
To visit you, my lord, no other occasion.
Beggar that I am even poor in thanks. But I thank you. And sure, good friends, my thanks are too dear a halfpenny. Were you not sent for? Is it your own inclining? Is it a free visitation? Come, deal justly with me. Come. Nay, speak.
What should we say, my lord?
Why, anything but to the purpose. You were sent for. There's a kind of confession in your looks which your modesties have not craft enough to color. I know the good king and queen have sent for you.
To what end, my lord?
That you must teach me. But let me conjure you, by the rights of our fellowship, by the obligation of our ever-preserved love, and by what more, dear, a better proposer could charge you withal, be even and direct with me whether you were sent for or no.
What say you?
Even I have an eye of you. If you love me, hold not off.
My lords, we were sent for.
I will tell you why. So shall my anticipation prevent your discovery, and your secrecy to the king and queen moult no feather. I have of late, but wherefore I know not, lost all my mirth, forgone all custom of exercises, and indeed it goes so heavily with my disposition that this goodly frame, the earth, seems to me a sterile promontory. This most excellent canopy, the air, look you, this brave o'erhanging firmament, this majestical roof fretted with golden fire, why, it appears no other thing to me than a foul and pestilent congregation of vapors. What a piece of work is a man! How noble in reason, how infinite in faculty, in form and moving, how express and admirable. In action, how like an angel. In apprehension, how like a god. The beauty of the world, paragon of animals. And yet to me, what is this? Quintessence of dust. Man delights not me. No, nor woman neither, though by your smiling you seem to say so.
My lord, there was no such stuff in my thoughts.
Why did you laugh then when I said man delights not me?
To think, my lord, if you delight not in man, what Lenten entertainment shall the players receive from you? We've coated them on the way, and hither are they coming to offer you service.
He that plays the king shall be welcome. What players are they?
Even those you were wont to take delight in, the tragedians of the city.
How chances that they travel? Do they hold the same estimation they did when I was in the city? Are they so followed?
No, indeed are they not.
How comes it? Do they grow rusty?
Nay! Their endeavors keeps in a wanted face.
There are the players.
Gentlemen, you are welcome to Elsinore. Your hands, come then. You are welcome. But my uncle, father, and aunt, mother are deceived.
What, my dear lord?
I am but mad. North-northwest. When the wind is southerly, I know a hawk from a handsaw.
Well be with you, gentlemen.
Hark you. I will prophesy he comes to tell me of the players. Mark it.
My lord, I have news to tell you.
When Roscius was an actor in Rome.
The actors are come hither, my lord. Upon mine honor.
Then came each actor on his ass.
The best actors in the world, either for tragedy, comedy, history, pastoral, pastoral comical, historical pastoral, tragical historical, tragical comical historical pastoral, scene indivisible, or poem unlimited. Seneca cannot be too heavy nor Plautus too light, for the law of writ and the liberty, these are the only men.
Oh, Jephthah, judge of Israel, what a treasure hadst thou.
What a treasure had he, my lord?
Why, one fair daughter, and no more, the which he loved passing well.
Still, on my daughter?
Am I not in the right, old Jephthah?
You call me old Jephthah, my lord. I have a daughter that I love passing well.
Nay, that follows not.
What follows then, my lord?
Why, as by lot God wot, and then, you know, it came to pass as most like it was. Look where my abridgment comes. You are welcome, masters, welcome all. I'm glad to see thee well. Welcome, good friends. Oh, my old friend. Thy face is valiant since I saw thee last. Comest thou to beard me in Denmark? You are welcome, masters. We'll have a speech straight. Come, give us a taste of your quality. Come, a passionate speech.
What speech, my lord?
I heard thee speak me a speech once, but it was never acted. Or if it was, not above once. For the play I remember, pleased not the million. 'Twas caviar to the general. But it was, as I received it, an excellent play. One speech in it I chiefly loved. 'Twas Aeneas' tale to Dido, and thereabout of it, especially where he speaks of Priam's slaughter. If it live in your memory, begin at this line. Let me see. The rugged Pyrrhus, like the Hyrcanian beast. It is not so. It begins with Pyrrhus. The rugged Pyrrhus, he whose sable arms, black as his purpose, did the night resemble, when he lay couched in the ominous horse, hath now this dread and black complexion smeared with heraldry more dismal. Head to foot now is he total ghouls, horridly tricked, with blood of fathers, mothers, daughters, sons, baked and impasted in the parching streets, that lend a tyrannous and a damned light to their lord's murder, roasted in wrath and fire, and thus o'ersized with coagulate gore, with eyes like carbuncles, the hellish Pyrrhus, old grandsire Priam seeks. So proceed you.
Oh God, my lord, well spoken, with good accent and good discretion.
Anon he finds him, striking two shorted Greeks. His antique sword, rebellious to his arm, lies where it falls, repugnant to command. Unequal matched, Pyrrhus at Priam drives, enraged, strikes wide, but with the whiff and wind of his fell sword, the unnerved father falls. Then senseless Ilium, seeming to feel this blow, with flaming top stoops to his base, and with a hideous crash takes prisoner Pyrrhus' ear. For lo, his sword, which was declining on the milky head of Reverend Priam, seemed in the air to stick. So, as a painted tyrant, Pyrrhus stood, like a neutral to his will and matter, did nothing. But as we often see against some storm, a silence in the heavens. The rack stands still, bold wind speechless, and the orb below is hush as death. Anon the dreadful thunder doth rend the region. So, after Pyrrhus pours, aroused vengeance sets him new a work, and never did the Cyclops' hammers fall on Mars' armor, forged for proof etern, with less remorse than Pyrrhus' bleeding sword now falls on Priam. Out, out, thou strumpet fortune! All you gods in general sinner, take away her power. Break all the spokes and fellies from her wheel, and bowl the round nave down the hill of heaven as low as to the fiends.
This is too long.
Shout to the barbers with your beard, prithee say on. He's for a jig or a tale of bawdry, or he sleeps. Say on. Come to Hecuba.
But who had seen the mobilid queen run barefoot up and down, threatening the flames with bison rheum, a clout upon that head where late the diadem stood, for a robe, a blanket in the alarm of fear caught up. For if the gods themselves did see her then, when she saw Pyrrhus make malicious sport, in mincing with his sword her husband's limbs, the instant burst of clamor that she made, unless things mortal move them not at all, would have made milch the burning eyes of heaven and passion in the gods.
Look whether he's not turned his colour and has tears in his eyes. Pray you, no more.
'Tis well. I'll have thee speak out the rest soon. Good, my lord. Will you see the players well bestowed? Do you hear? Let them be well used. For they are the abstract and brief chronicles of the time. After your death, you were better have a bad epitaph than their ill report while you live.
My lord, I will use them according to their desert.
God, Vatican's man, much better! Use every man after his desert, and who should escape whipping? Use them after your own honor and dignity. The less they deserve, the more merit is in your bounty. Take them in.
Come, sirs.
Follow him, friends. We'll hear play tomorrow. Dost thou hear me, old friend? Can you play the murder of Gonzago?
Aye, my lord.
Well, how tomorrow? You could for need study a speech of some 12 or 16 lines, which I would set down and insert into, could you not?
Aye, my lord.
Very well. Follow that, lord, and look you mock him not. My good friends, I'll leave you till night. You are welcome to Elsinore.
Good, my lord.
Aye, so God be with ye. Now I am alone. Oh, what a rogue and peasant slave am I. Is it not monstrous that this player here, but in a fiction, in a dream of passion, could force his soul so to his own conceit that from her working all his visage wanned, tears in his eyes, distraction in his aspect, a broken voice, and his whole function suiting with forms to his conceit, and all for nothing. For Hecuba, what's Hecuba to him, or he to Hecuba, that he should weep for her? What would he do had he the motive and the cue for passion that I have? He would drown the stage with tears and cleave the general ear with horrid speech, make mad the guilty and appall the free, confound the ignorant and amaze, indeed, the very faculties of eyes and ears. Yet I, a dull and muddy-mettled rascal, peak, like John a Dreams, unpregnant of my cause, and can say nothing, no, not for a king, upon whose property and most dear life a damned defeat was made. Am I a coward? Who calls me villain, breaks my pater cross, plucks off my beard and blows it in my face, tweaks me by the nose, gives me the line in the throat as deep as to the lungs? Who does me this, huh? Zoom. I should take it, for it cannot be but I am pigeon-livered and lack gall to make oppression bitter. Or at this, I should have fatted all the region kites with this slave's awful, bloody, bawdy villain. Remorseless, treacherous, lecherous, kindless villain. Oh, vengeance! Why, what an ass am I. This is most brave. That I, the son of a dear father murdered, prompted to my revenge by heaven and hell, must like a whore unpack my heart with words and fall a-cursing like a very drab, a scullion. Fie upon! Fie! About my brain! I have heard that guilty creatures sitting at a play have by the very cunning of the scene been struck so to the soul that presently they have proclaimed their malefactions. For murder, though it have no tongue, will speak with most miraculous organ. I'll have these players play something like the murder of my father before mine uncle. I'll observe his looks. I'll tempt him to the quick. If he but blench, I know my course. The spirit that I have seen may be the devil, and the devil hath power to assume a pleasing shape. Yeah, and perhaps out of my weakness and my melancholy, as he is very potent with such spirits, abuses me to damn me. I'll have grounds more relative than this. The play's the thing wherein I'll catch the conscience of the king.
And can you by no drift of circumstance get from him why he puts on this confusion, grating so harshly all his days of quiet with turbulent and dangerous lunacy?
He does confess he feels himself distracted, but from what cause he will by no means speak.
Nor do we find him forward to be sounded, but with a crafty madness keeps aloof when we would bring him on to some confession of his true state.
Did he receive you well?
Most like a gentleman.
But with much forcing of his disposition.
Did you assay him to any pastime?
Madam, it so fell out that certain players we all wrote on the way of these we told him, and there did seem in him a kind of joy to hear of it. They are about the courts, and as I think they have already order this night to play before him.
'Tis most true, and he beseeched me to entreat your majesties to hear and see the matter.
With all my heart, and it doth much content me to hear him so inclined. Good gentlemen, give him a further edge and drive his purpose on to his delights.
We shall, my lord.
Sweet Gertrude, leave us too. For we have closely sent for Hamlet hither, that he, as it were by accident, may here affront Ophelia. Her father and myself, lawful espials, will so bestow ourselves that, seeing unseen, we may of their encounter frankly judge and gather by him as he is behaved, if it be the affliction of his love, or no, that thus he suffers for.
I shall obey you. And for your part, Ophelia, I do wish that your good beauties be the happy cause of Hamlet's wildness. So shall I hope your virtue will bring him to his wonted way again, to both your honours.
Madam, I wish it may.
Ophelia, keep you here. Gracious, we will bestow ourselves. Read on this book, that show of such an exercise may colour your loneliness. We are oft to blame in this, 'tis too much proved, that with devotion's visage and pious action, we do sugar the devil himself.
Oh, 'tis too true.
I see him coming. Let's withdraw, my lord.
To be or not to be? That is the question. Whether 'tis nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take arms against a sea of troubles, and by opposing end them, to die, to sleep no more, and by a sleep to say we end the heartache and the thousand natural shocks that flesh is heir to. 'Tis a consummation devoutly to be wished. To die, to sleep. To sleep, perchance to dream, aye, there's the rub. For in that sleep of death, what dreams may come when we have shuffled off this mortal coil must give us pause. There's the respect that makes calamity of so long life. For who would bear the whips and scorns of time? the oppressor's wrong, the proud man's contumely, the pangs of disprized love, the law's delay, the insolence of office, and the spurns that patient merit of the unworthy takes, when he himself might his quietus make with a bare bodkin. Who would these fardels bear, to grunt and sweat under a weary life, but that the dread of something after death, the undiscovered country from whose bourne no traveller returns, puzzles the will, and makes us rather bear those ills we have than fly to others that we know not of. Thus, conscience does make cowards of us all. And thus, the native hue of resolution is sicklied o'er with the pale cast of thought. And enterprises of great pitch and moment, with this regard, their currents turn awry, and lose the name of action. Soft you now, the fair Ophelia, nymph, in thy orisons be all my sins remembered.
Good my lord, how does your honour for this many a day?
I humbly thank you. Well.
My lord, I have remembrances of yours that I have longed to redeliver. I pray you now receive them.
No. Not I. I never gave you aught.
My honoured lord, you know right well you did, and with them words of so sweet breath composed as made the things more rich. Their perfume lost, take these again. For to the noble mind, rich gifts wax poor when givers prove unkind. There, my lord.
Huh. Are you honest?
My lord.
Are you fair?
What means your lordship?
That if you be honest and fair, your honesty should admit no discourse to your beauty.
Could beauty, my lord, have better commerce than with honesty?
Aye, truly, for the power of beauty can sooner transform honesty from what it is to a bawd than the force of honesty can translate beauty into his likeness. This was sometime a paradox, but now the time gives it proof. I did love you once.
Indeed, my lord, you made me believe so.
You should not have believed me. I loved you not.
I was the more deceived.
Get thee to a nunnery. Why wouldst thou be a breeder of sinners? I am myself indifferent honest, and yet I could accuse me of such things that it were better my mother had not borne me. I'm very proud, revengeful, ambitious, with more offences at my beck than I have thoughts to put them in, imagination to give them shape, or time to act them in. What should such fellows as I do crawling between earth and heaven? We are arrant knaves, all, believe none of us. Go thy ways to a nunnery. Where's your father?
At home, my lord.
Let the doors be shut upon him, that he may play the fool nowhere but in his own house. Farewell.
Oh, help him, you sweet heaven.
If thou dost marry, I'll give thee this plague for thy dowry. Be thou as chaste as ice, as pure as snow. Thou shalt not escape calumny. Get thee to a nunnery. Go. Farewell. Or, if thou wilt needs marry a fool. The wise men know well enough what monsters you make of them. To a nunnery. Go, and quickly too! Farewell!
Oh, heavenly powers restore him!
I have heard of your paintings too. Well enough. God has given you one face, and you make yourselves another. You jig, you amble, and you lisp. You nickname God's creatures. You make your wantonness, your ignorance. Go to! I'll no more on 'tis, it made me mad. I say, we will have no more marriages. Those that are married already, all but one, shall live. The rest shall keep as they are. To a nunnery go.
Oh, what a noble mind is hero thrown. The courtiers, soldiers, scholars, eye, tongue, sword. The expectancy and rose of the fair state. The glass of fashion and the mould of form quite down. And I, of ladies most deject and wretched, sucked the honey of his music vows, now see that noble and most sovereign reason, like sweet bells jangled, out of tune and harsh. That unmatched form and feature of blown youth, blasted with ecstasy. Oh, woe is me, to have seen what I have seen. See what I see?
Love? His affections do not that way tend, nor what he spake, though lacked form a little, was not like madness. There's something in his soul, over which his melancholy sits on brood, and I do doubt the hatch and the disclose will be some danger, which for to prevent, I have in quick determination thus set it down. He shall with speed to England for the demand of our neglected tribute. Haply the seas and countries different, with variable objects shall expel this something settled matter in his heart, whereon his brain still beating puts him thus from fashion of himself. What think you, aunt?
It shall do well. But yet do I believe the origin and commencement of his grief sprung from neglected love. How now, Ophelia? You need not tell us what Lord Hamlet said. We heard it all. My lord, do as you please, but if you hold it fit after the play, let his queen mother all alone entreat him to show his grief. Let her be round with him, and I'll be placed, so please you, in the ear of all their conference. If she find him not, to England send him, or confine him where your wisdom best shall think.
It shall be so. Madness in great ones must not unwatched go.
Speak the speech, I pray you, as I pronounced it to you, trippingly on the tongue. But if you mouth it, as many of your players do, I had as lief the town crier had spoke my lines. Nor do not soar the air too much, your hand thus, but use all gently. For in the very torrent, tempest, and as I may say, the whirlwind of your passion, you must acquire and beget a temperance that may give it smoothness.
I hope we have performed that indifferently with us, sir.
Be not too tame neither, but let your own discretion be your tutor. Suit the action to the word to the action. With this special observance, overstep not the modesty of nature, for anything so overdone is from the purpose of playing, whose end, both at the first and now, was and is to hold, as 'twere the mirror up to nature, to show virtue her own feature, scorn her own image, and the very age and body of the time, his form and pressure. Go make you ready. How now, my lord? Will the king hear this piece of work?
And the queen too, and that presently.
Horatio!
Sweet Lord, at your service.
Horatio, thou art e'en as just a man as e'er my conversation coped withal.
Dear Lord.
Nay, do not think I flatter. For what advancement may I hope from thee that no revenue has but thy good spirit to feed and clothe thee? Blessed are those whose blood and judgment are so well commingled that they are not a pipe for fortune's finger to sound what stop she please. Give me that man that's not passion's slave, and I'll wear him in my heart's core, aye, in my heart of hearts, as I do thee. Something too much of this. There is a play tonight before the king. One scene of it comes near the circumstance which I have told thee of my father's death. I prithee, when thou seest the act afoot, even with the comment of thy soul, observe mine uncle. If his occulted guilt do not itself unkennel in one speech, then it is a damned ghost we have seen, and my imaginations are as foul as Vulcan's stithy. Give him heedful note, for I mine eyes will rivet to his face, and after we will both our judgments join in censure of his seeming.
Well, my lord, if he still aught whilst this play's playing and escape detecting, I will pay the theft.
They're coming to the play. Get you a place.
How fares our cousin Hamlet?
Excellent. In faith of the chameleon's dish, I eat the air. Promise crammed.
I have nothing with this answer, Hamlet. These words are not mine.
No, nor mine. Now, my lord, you played once in university, you say?
That did I, my lord, and was accounted a good actor.
What did you enact?
I did enact Julius Caesar. I was killed in the Capitol. Brutus killed me.
The player's ready.
Aye, my lord.
Come here, Hamlet. Sit by me.
No, good mother. Lady, shall I lie on your lap?
No, my lord.
I mean, my head upon your lap.
Aye, my lord.
Do you think I meant country matters?
I think nothing, my lord.
It's a fair thought to lie between maids' legs.
What is, my lord?
Nothing.
You are merry, my lord.
Who, I?
Aye, my lord.
God, your holy jig maker. What should man do but be merry? For look you how cheerfully my mother looks, and my father died within these 2 hours.
Nay, 'tis twice 2 months, my lord.
So long, oh heavens. Die 2 months and not forgotten yet. Then there's hope a great man's memory may outlive his life half a year.
For us and for our tragedy, here stooping to your clemency, we beg your hearing patiently.
What means this, my lord?
It means mischief.
Belike the show imports the argument of the play.
Full 30 times have Phoebus' cart gone round, Neptune's salt wash and Tellus' orbit ground, and 30 dozen moons with borrowed sheen about this world have times 1230s been. Since love, our hearts, and hymen did our hands unite, commutual, in most sacred bands.
So many journeys may the sun and moon make us again count o'er ere love be done. But woe is me, you're so sick of late, so far from cheer and from your former state, that I fear for you, yet though I distrust, discomfort you, my lord, it nothing must. For a woman's fear and love hold quantity, and neither ought nor in extremity. Now what my love is, proof have made you know, and as my love is size, my fear is so.
Faith, I must leave thee, love, and shortly too. My operant powers their functions leave to do, and thou shalt live in this fair world behind, honoured, beloved, and happily one as kind, for husband shalt thou.
I can bound the rest, but love must be treason in my breast. In second husband let me be accursed. None wed the second, but who kill the first? These instances the second marriage move, or basis that's a thrift, but none of love.
A second time I kill my husband dead, when second husband kisses me in bed.
I do believe you think what now you speak, but what we do determine, oft we break. What to ourselves in passion we propose, the passion ending doth the purpose lose. So think thou wilt no second husband wed, but die thy thoughts when thy first lord is dead.
Nor earth to give me food, nor heaven light. Mirth and repose lock from me day and night. Both here and hence pursue me lasting strife. If once a widow, ever I be wife.
'Tis deeply sworn. Love, leave me here a while. My spirits grow dull, and fain I would beguile this tedious day with sleep.
Sleep rock thy brain, and never come mischance between us twain.
Madam, how like you this play?
The lady doth protest too much, methinks.
Oh, but she'll keep her word.
Have you heard the argument? Is there no offence in it?
No. No, they do but jest. Poison in jest. No offence in the world.
What do you call the play?
The Mousetrap. The play is the image of a murder done in Vienna. Gonzago's the Duke's name, his wife Baptista. Oh, you shall see anon, 'tis a knavish piece of work. But what of that? Your Majesty and we that have free souls, it touches us not. This is one Lucianus, nephew to the king.
You are as good as chorus, my lord.
I could interpret between you and your love if I could see puppets dallying.
You are keen, my lord. You are keen.
Of course, your groanings take off my edge.
Still better and worse.
Begin, murderer. Pox, leave thy damnable faces and begin.
Thoughts black, hands at drugs fit, and time agreeing. Confederate season else no creature seeking. The mixture rank of midnight weeds collected, with Hecate's band thrice blasted, thrice infected. Thy natural magic and dire property, unwholesome life, usurp immediately.
Away!
Why let the stricken deer go weep, the heart ungalled play? For some must watch while some must sleep, so runs the world away. Will not this get me a fellowship and a cry of player, sir?
Have a share.
Hold one eye. Oh, good Horatio, I'll take the ghost word for £1,000. Didst perceive?
Very well, my lord.
Upon the talk of the poisoning.
I did very well note him.
Come, some music. Come, the recorders! For if the king like not the comedy, why then be like he likes it not purdy. Come, some music!
Good, my lord. Vouchsafe me a word with you.
Sir, whole history.
The king, sir.
Aye, sir. What of him?
Is in his retirement marvellous distempered.
With drink, sir?
No, my lord, rather with choler.
Your wisdom should show itself more richer to signify this to his doctor. For me to put him to his purgation may perhaps plunge him into far more choler.
Good, my lord. Put your discourse into some frame and start not so wildly from my affair.
I'm tame, sir. Pronounce.
The queen, your mother, in most great affliction of spirit, hath sent me to you.
You're welcome.
Nay, good, my lord, this courtesy is not of the right frame. If it shall please you so to make me a wholesome answer, I'll do your mother's commandment. If not, your pardon and my return shall be the end of my business.
Sir, I cannot.
What, my lord?
Make you a wholesome answer. My wit's diseased. But, sir, such answer as I can make you shall command, or rather, as you say, my mother. Therefore, no more but to the matter. My mother, you say.
Then thus she says, your behaviour hath struck her into amazement and admiration.
Oh, wonderful son that can so astonish a mother. But is there no sequel at the heels of this mother's admiration, in part?
She desires to speak with you in her closet ere you go to bed.
We shall obey. Were she 10 times our mother. Have you any further trade with us?
My lord, you once did love me.
So I do still. By these pickers and stealers.
But my lord, what is the cause of your distemper? You do surely bar the door upon your own liberty if you deny your griefs to your friend.
Sir, I lack advancement.
How can that be when you have the voice of the king himself for your succession in Denmark?
Aye, but sir, while the grass grows, there's probably something musty. Oh, the recorders. Let me see one. To withdraw with you. Why do you go about to recover the wind of me as if you would drive me into a toil?
Oh, my lord, if my duty is too bold, my love is too unmannerly.
I do not well understand that. Will you play upon this pipe?
I cannot, my lord.
I pray you.
Believe me, I
do
cannot.
Beseech you.
I know no touch of it, my lord.
'Tis as easy as lying. Govern these ventages with your fingers and thumb, give it breath with your mouth, and it will discourse most eloquent music. Look you, these are the stops.
But these cannot I command to any utterance of harmony. I have not the skill.
Why, how unworthy a thing you make of me. You would play upon me. You would seem to know my stops. You would pluck out the heart to my mystery. You would sound me from my lowest note to the top of my compass. And there's much music, excellent voice in this little organ, yet cannot you make it speak? Blood. Do you think I'm easier to be played upon than a pipe? Call me what instrument you will. Though you can fret me, yet you cannot play upon me. God bless you, sir.
My lord, the Queen would speak with you, and presently.
Do you see yonder cloud that's in the shape of a camel?
The mass, and 'tis like a camel indeed.
Methinks it's like a weasel.
It is backed like a weasel.
Or like a whale.
Very like a whale.
Then I will come by and by. They fool me to the top of my bent. I'll come by and by.
Or say so.
By and by is easily said. Leave me, friends. 'Tis now the very wit witching time of night, when churchyards yawn and hell itself breathes out contagion to this world. Now could I do such bitter business as the day would quake to look on. So, now to my mother. O heart, lose not thy nature. Let not ever the soul of Nero enter this firm bosom. Let me be cruel, not unnatural. I will speak daggers to her, but use none. My tongue and soul in this be hypocrites.
I like him not, nor stands it safe with us to let his madness range. Therefore prepare you. I, your commission, will forthwith dispatch, and he to England shall with you. The terms of our estate may not endure hazard so dangerous as doth hourly grow out of his lunacies.
We will ourselves provide, most holy and religious fear it is, to keep those many, many bodies safe that live and feed upon your majesty.
Arm you, I pray you, to this speedy voyage, for we will fetters put upon this fear, which now goes too free-footed.
We will haste us.
My lord, he's going to his mother's closet. Behind the arras, I'll convey myself to hear the process of warrant shall tax him home. And as you said, and wisely was it said, 'tis meet that some more audience than a mother, since nature makes them partial, should overhear the speech of vantage. Fare you well, my liege. I'll call upon you ere you go to bed and tell you what I know.
Thanks, dear my lord. My offense is rank. It smells to heaven. It hath the primal eldest curse upon't. Brother's murder. Pray can I not, though inclination be as sharp as will, my stronger guilt defeats my strong intent, and like a man to double business bound, I stand and pause, where I shall first begin and both neglect. What if this cursed hand were thicker than itself with brother's blood? Is there not rain enough in the sweet heavens to wash it white as snow? Where serves mercy but to confront the visage of offense? And what's in prayer but this twofold force to be forestalled ere we come to fall, or pardon being done? Then I'll look up, my fault is past. But oh, what form of prayer can serve my turn? Forgive me my foul murder. That cannot be, since I am still possessed of those effects for which I did the murder. My crown, mine ambition, and my queen. May one be pardoned and retain the offense. In the corrupted currents of this world, offence's gilded end may shove by justice, and oft 'tis seen the wicked prize itself buys out the law. But 'tis not so above. There is no shuffling. There, the action lies in its true nature, and we ourselves compelled to give in evidence. What then? What rests? Try what repentance can. What can it not? Yet, what can it when one cannot repent? Oh, wretched state. Bosom black as death. Limed soul that's struggling to be free art more engaged. Help. Angels, make essay.
bows to Benice. And heart with strings of steel be soft as sinews of the newborn babe. All may be well.
Now might I do it, Pat. Now he's praying. And now I'll do it. And so he goes to heaven. And so am I revenged. That would be scanned. A villain kills my father, and put that I, his sole son, to the same villain sent to heaven? Oh, this is hire and salary, not revenge. He took my father, grossly, full of bread, with all his crimes broad blown, as fresh as May, and how his hood stands, who knows? Save heaven. But in our circumstance and course of thought, 'tis ever with him. And am I then revenged to take him in the purging of his soul when he is fit and seasoned for his passage? No. Up sword, and know thou more hard hand, when he is drunk asleep, or in his rage, or in the incestuous pleasure of his bed, at gaming, swearing, or about some act that has no relish of salvation in it, then trip him, that his ears may kick at heaven, and that his soul may be as damned and black as hell whereto it goes. My mother stays. This physic but prolongs thy sickly days.
My words fly up, my thoughts remain below. Words without thoughts never to heaven go.
He will come straight. Look you, lay home to him, tell him his pranks have been too broad to bear with, and that your grace hath screened and stood between much heat and him. I'll silence me even here. Pray you, be round with him.
Mother! Mother! Mother!
Now, Mother, what's the matter?
Hamlet, thou hast thy father much offended.
So you have my father much offended.
Come, you answer with an idle tongue.
Go, you question with a wicked tongue.
Why? How now, Hamlet?
What's the matter now?
Have you forgot me?
No. By the rule not so. You are the queen, your husband's brother's wife. And would you were not so, you are my mother.
Nay, then, I'll set those to you that can speak.
Come and sit you down, you shall not budge! You go not, till I set you up a class where you may see the inmost part of you.
Wilt thou do? Thou wilt not murder me!
Help! Help! Help!
How now? A rat! Dead! For a ducat dead!
Oh, I'm slain.
Oh, me? What hast thou done?
Nay, I know not. Is it the king?
Oh, what a rash and bloody deed is this!
Oh, a bloody deed. Almost as bad, good mother, as kill a king and marry with his brother.
As kill a king?
Aye, lady, 'twas my word. Thou wretched, rash, intruding fool! Farewell. I took thee for thy better. Take thy fortune. Thou find'st to be too busy is some danger. Leave wringing of your hands. Peace! Sit you down! And let me wring your heart, for so I shall if it be made of perishable stuff.
What have I done, that thou darest wag thy tongue in noise so rude against me?
Such an act that blurs the grace and blush of modesty, calls virtue hypocrite, makes marriage vows as false as dice's oaths.
Ay, me, what act?
Look you upon this picture.
presentment of two brothers. See what a grace was seated on this brow. Hyperion's curls, the front of Jove himself,
and I like Mars to threaten and command. A combination and a form indeed, where every god did seem to set his seal to give the wild assurance of a man. This was your husband. Look you now what follows. Here is your husband, like a mildewed ear, blasting his wholesome brother. Have you eyes? Huh? Have you eyes?
You cannot call it love.
For at your age, the heyday in the blood is tame. It's humble and waits upon the judgment. And what judgment would step from this to this? Sense, sure you have, else could you not have motion. But sure that sense is perplexed, for madness would not err, nor sense to ecstasy was ne'er so thralled, but it reserved some quantity of choice to serve in such a difference. What devil was that thus hath governed you at home and blind? Oh, shame! Where is thy blush?
Speak no more. Thou turnest mine eyes into my very soul, and there I see such black ingrained spots as will not leave their taint.
Nay, but to live in the rank sweat of an enseamed bed, stewed in corruption, honeying, and making love over the nasty time.
Hamlet, speak no more. These words like daggers and taint to mine ears. No more, sweet Hamlet.
A murderer and a villain! A slave that is not the 20th part, the tithe of your preceding lord.
No more!
A king of shreds and patches! Save me, and hover over me with your wings, you heavenly gods. What would your gracious figure? Do not come your tardy son to chide, that lapsed in time and passion. Let's go by the important acting of your dread command. Oh, say!
Do not forget, this visitation is but to whet thy almost blunted purpose. But look, amazement on thy mother sits. Oh, step between her and her fighting soul. Speak to her, Hamlet.
How is it with you, lady?
Alas, how's it with you? Are you to bend your eye on vacancy and with the incorporeal air to hold discourse? A gentle sun upon the heath and flame of thy distemper sprinkle cool patience. Whereon do you look?
On him! On him! Look you how pale he glares!
To whom do you speak this?
Do you see nothing there?
No, nothing at all, yet all that is I see.
Nor do you nothing here?
No, nothing but ourselves.
Well, look you there! Look how it steals away! My father, in his habit as he lived. Look where he goes even now.
This is the very coinage of your brain. This bodiless creation, ecstasy is very cunning in.
Ecstasy? My pulse, as yours, doth temperately keep time and makes as healthful music. It is not madness that I have uttered. Bring me to the test, and neither matter will free word which madness would candle from. Mother, for love of grace, lay not that flattering unction to your soul, that not your trespass, but my madness speaks. It will but skin and film the ulcerous place, whilst rank corruption, mining all within, infects unseen. Confess yourself to heaven. Repent what's past. Avoid what is to come. And do not spread the compost on the weeds to make them ranker.
Hamlet, thou hast cleft my heart in twain.
Throw away the worser part of it, and live the purer with the other half. Good night. But go not to mine uncle's bed. Assume a virtue if you have it not. Refrain tonight, and that shall lend a kind of easiness to the next abstinence, the next more easy. So again, good night. And when you are desirous to be blessed, I'll blessing beg of you. For the same Lord I do repent. But heaven hath pleased it so, to punish me with this, and this with me, that I must be their scourge, and Minister, I will bestow him, and I will answer well the death I gave him. So again, good night. I must be cruel only to be kind. Thus bad begins and worse remains behind. One word more, good lady.
What shall I do?
Not this. By no means that I bid you do. Let the bloat king tempt you again to bed, pinch wanton on your cheek, call you his mouse, and let him for a pair of reachy kisses, or paddling in your neck with his damned fingers, make you to ravel all this matter out, that I essentially am not in madness, but mad in craft.
Be thou assured, if words be made of breath, and breath of life, I have no life to breathe. What thou hast said to me.
I must to England, you know that?
Alas, I had forgot. 'Tis so concluded on.
There's letter sealed. My 2 schoolfellows, who I will trust as I will adders fanged, they bear the mandate. Let it work. For 'tis the sport to have the engineer hoist with his own petard, and shall go hard, but I will delve 1 yard below their minds and blow them at the moon. Oh, 'tis most sweet when in one line 2 crafts directly meet. This man shall set me packing. I'll lug the guts into the neighbour room. Good night, mother. Indeed, this counsellor is now most still, most secret, and most grave. That was in life a foolish prating knave. Come, sir, to draw toward an end with you. Good night, Mother!
There's a matter in this size, these profound heaves. Where is your son?
Bestow this place on us a little while. Oh, my good lord, what have I seen tonight?
What, Gertrude? How does Hamlet?
Mad, as the sea and wind when both contend, which is the mightier. In his lawless fit, behind the arras, hearing something stir, whips out his rapier, cries, a rat, and in this brainish apprehension kills the unseen good old man.
Oh, heavy deed. It had been so with us had we been there. His liberty is full of threats to all, to you yourself, to us, to everyone. It will be laid to us, whose providence should have kept it short, restrained and out of aunt. This mad young man, where is he gone?
To draw apart the body I've killed. He weeps for what is done.
Oh, Gertrude, come away! The sun no sooner shall the mountains touch, but we will ship him hence. And this vile deed we must with all our majesty and skill both countenance and excuse. Guildenstern! Friends, both, go join you with some further aid. Hamlet in madness hath Polonius slain, and from his mother's closet hath he dragged him. Go seek him out! Speak fair, and bring the body into the chapel. I pray you, haste in this. Come, Gertrude, come away. My soul is full of discord and dismay.
safely stowed.
Hamlet?
Lord Hamlet!
Who calls on Hamlet? Oh, here they come.
What have you done, my lord, with the dead body?
Compounded it with dust whereto 'tis kin.
Tell us where 'tis, that we may take it thence and bear it to the chapel.
Do not believe it.
Believe what?
That I can keep your counsel and not mine own. Besides, to be demanded of a sponge what replication should be made by the son of a king.
Take you me for a sponge, my
Aye,
lord?
sir, that soaks up the king's countenance, his rewards, his authorities, but such officers do the king best service in the end. He keeps them, like an ape, in the corner of his jaw, first mouthed to be last swallowed. When he needs what you have gleaned, it is but squeezing you, and sponge, you shall be dry again.
I understand you not, my lord.
I'm glad of it. A knavish speech sleeps in a foolish ear.
Tell us where the body is, and go with us to the king.
The body is with the king, but the king is not with the body. The king is a thing.
A thing, my lord.
Of nothing. Bring me to him.
What hath befallen?
Where the dead body is bestowed, my lord, we cannot get from him.
But where is he?
Without, my lord, guarded, to know your pleasure.
Bring him before us.
Ho, Guildenstern, bring in my lord.
Now, Hamlet, where is Polonius?
At supper.
At supper? Where?
Not where he eats, but where he is eaten. A certain convocation of politic worms are in at him. Your worm is your only emperor for diet. We fat all creatures else to fat us, and we fat ourselves for maggots. Your fat king and your lean beggar is but variable service. 2 dishes, but to 1 table. That's the end.
Alas.
A man may fish with the worm that have ate of a king, and eat of the fish that have fed of the worm.
What dost thou mean by this?
Nothing, but to show you how a king may go a progress through the guts of a beggar.
Where is Polonius?
In heaven. Send thither to see. If your messenger finds him not there, seek him in the other place yourself. But indeed, if you find him not within this month, you shall nose him as you go up the stairs into the lobby.
Go seek him there.
He shall stay till ye come.
Hamlet, this deed for thine especial safety, which we do tender as we dearly grieve for that which thou hast done, must send thee hence with fiery quickness. Therefore prepare thyself. The bark is ready, and the wind at help. The associates stand, and everything is bent for England.
For England?
Aye, Hamlet.
Good.
So is it. If thou knewest our purposes.
I see a cherub that sees them. Come, for England. Farewell, dear mother.
Thy loving father, Hamlet.
My mother. Father and mother is man and wife. Man and wife is one flesh. And so, my mother, come. For England.
Follow him at foot. Tempt him with speed aboard. Delay it not. I'll have him hence tonight. Away, for everything is sealed and done that else leans on the affair. And England, if my love thou hold'st at aught, and my great power, thou mayst not coldly set our sovereign process, which imports at full by letters congruing to that effect the present death of Hamlet. Do it, England! For like the hectic in my bloody rages, and thou must cure me till I know 'tis done, howe'er my haps, my joys were ne'er begun.
Go, Captain. From me greet the Danish king. Tell him that by his license, Fortinbras craves the conveyance of a promised march over his kingdom. You know the rendezvous? If that His Majesty would out with us, we shall express our duty in his eye and let him know so.
I'll do it, my lord.
Go softly on.
Good sir, whose powers are these?
They're of Norway, sir.
How purpose, sir, I pray you?
Against some part of Poland.
Who commands them, sir?
A nephew to old Fortinbras.
Was it against the main of Poland, sir, or for some frontier?
Truly to speak, and with no addition, we go to gain a little patch of ground that hath in it no profit but the name. To pay 5 ducats. 5, I would not farm it. Nor will it yield to Norway or the Pole a higher rate should it be sold in fee.
Why, then the Pollack never will defend it.
Yes, it is already garrisoned.
This is the impostume of much peace and wealth. The inward breaks and shows no cause without why the man dies. I humbly thank you, sir.
God be with you, sir.
Will please you go, my lord?
I'll be with you straight. Go a little before. How all occasions do inform against me and spur my dull revenge. What is a man if his chief good and market of his time be but to sleep and feed? A beast, no more. Sure he that made us with such large discourse looking before and after gave us not that capability and godlike reason to fuss in us unused. Now, whether it be bestial oblivion or some craven scruple of thinking too precisely on the event, a thought which quartered hath but 1 part wisdom and ever 3 parts coward. I do not know why yet I live to say this thing's to do, since I have cause and will and strength and means to do it. Examples gross as earth exhort me, witness this army with such mass and charge, led by a delicate and tender prince, whose spirit with divine ambition puffed exposes what is mortal and sure, for all that fortune, death and danger dare, even for an eggshell. How stand I then, that have a father killed, a mother stained, excitements of my reason and my blood, and let all sleep? While to my shame, I see the imminent deaths of 20,000 men who for a fantasy and trick of fame go to their graves like bits. Fight for a plot which is not tomb enough or continent to hide the slain. Oh! From this time forth, my thoughts be bloody, or be nothing worth.
I will not speak with her.
She is importunate, indeed distract. Her mood will needs be pitied.
What would she have?
She speaks much of her father, says she hears there's tricks in the world, and hums and beats her heart, spurns enviously at straws, speaks things in doubt that carry but half sense. Her speech is nothing, yet the unshaped use of it doth move the hearers to collection. They aim at it and botch the words up fit to their own thoughts, which, as her winks and nods and gestures yield them, indeed would make one think there might be thought, though nothing sure, yet much unhappily.
'Twere good she was spoken with, for she may strew dangerous conjectures in ill-breeding minds.
Let her come in.
Where is the beauteous majesty of Denmark?
How now, William?
Captured I your true love learn from another one, by his cocoa hat and staff and his sandal shoe.
Alas, sweet lady, what
Say
important
you
thought?
pray you more! He is dead and gone, lady, he is dead and gone. At his head a grass-green turf, at his heels a stone.
Pray, but of
Pray you mock! My teeth shrap as the mouth.
Come Here, good lord.
Lord, it was sweet flowers which we wept to the grave did go as true love showers.
How do you, pretty lady?
Well, good ill you. Lord, we know what we are, but know not what we may be. God be at your table.
Conceit upon her father.
Oh, pray you, let's have no words of this, but when they ask you what it means, say you this. Tomorrow is St. Valentine's Day, all in the morning be time, and I am laid at your window to be your Valentine. Then up he rose and donned his clothes and tapped the chamber door, letting the maid, the outer maid, never departed more.
Pretty Ophelia.
Indeed, without an oath, I'll make an end on it. By juice and by Saint Charity and their luck for shame, young men will do it if they come to it. By cock they are to blame. Quoth she, before you tumbled me, you promised me to wear, and so would I have done by yonder sun, and thou hadst not come to my bed.
How long has she been thus?
I hope all will be well. We must be patient, but I cannot choose but weep to think that they should lay him in the cold ground. My brother shall know of it. So I thank you for your good counsel. Good night, ladies. Good night, sweet ladies. Good night. Good night.
Follow her. Give her good watch, I pray you. This is the poison of deep grief. It springs all from a father's death. Oh, Gertrude. Gertrude, when sorrows come, they come not single spies, but in battalion. Her brother is in secret come from France.
What noise is this?
Where are my Switzers? Let them guard the door! What is the matter?
Save yourself, my lord. Young Laertes, in a riotous head, obeys your officers. The rabble call him lord. They cry, choose we, Laertes shall be king. Laertes shall be king. Laertes king.
False Danish dogs!
Where is this king? Sir, stand you all without.
Come in.
I pray you give me leave.
We will.
Thank you, keep the door. Oh, thou vile king. Give me my father.
Calmly, good Laertes.
The drop of blood that's calm proclaims me bastard. Cries cuckold to my father. Brands the harlot even here between the chaste and smirched brow of my true mother.
Laertes, tell me why thy rebellion looks so giant-like. Let him go. Gertrude, do not fear our person. There's such divinity doth edge a king, that treason can but pip to what it would, acts little of his will. Tell me why, Laertes, why thou art thus incensed. Let him go. Gertrude, speak, man.
Where is my father?
Dead.
But not by him.
Let him demand his fill.
How came he dead? I'll not be juggled with. To hell allegiance, vows to the blackest devil, conscience and grace to the profoundest pit. I dare damnation. To this point I stand, that both the worlds I give to negligence. Let come what comes, only I'll be revenged most thoroughly from my father.
Good Laertes, if you desire to know the certainty of your dear father's death, is it writ in your revenge that swoop-stake you will draw both friend and foe, winner and loser?
None but his enemies.
Why, now you speak like a good child and a true gentleman, for I am guiltless of your father's death, and most sensible in grief for it.
And now what noise is that? Heat dry up my brains. Tears 7 times salt burn out the sense and virtue of mine eye. Oh, Rose of May, dear maid, kind sister, sweet Ophelia. Oh, heavens. Hadst thou thy wits and didst persuade revenge, I could not move thus!
Rosemary. As for remembrance, pray, love, remember. There is pansies. That's for thoughts. Svenna for you. Some rue for you. And here's some for me. You must wear your rue with a difference. 'Tis a daisy. I would give you some violets, but they were the door when my father died. They say he made a good end. Bonny sweet Robin is all my joy. Will he not come again? Will he not come again? No, no, he is dead. Go to thy deathbed. He never will come again. He's gone, he's gone. We cast away our own. God have mercy on his soul, and of all Christian souls. I pray God. God be with thee.
Do you see this? Oh, God.
Laertes, I must commune with your grief, or you deny me right. Go but apart. If by direct or by collateral hand you find us touched, we will our kingdom give, our life, our crown, and all that we call ours, to you in satisfaction. But if not, be your content to lend your patience to us, and we shall jointly labor with your soul to give it due content.
Let this be so. His means of death, his obscure funeral, no trophy, sword, nor hatchment are his bones, no noble right, nor formal ostentation, cry to be heard. As 'twere from heaven to earth that I must call in question.
So shall you. And where the offense is, let the great axe fall. I pray you. Go with me.
Who is it that will speak with me?
The sailor, sir. He says he has letters for you.
Let him come in.
God bless you, sir.
Let him bless thee too.
You shall, sir, if it please him. There's a letter for you, sir, from the ambassador that was bound for England. If your name be Horatio, as I'm led to know it is.
Horatio, when thou shalt have overlooked this, give this fellow some mace to the king. He has letters for him. Ere we were 2 days old at sea, a pirate, of very warlike appointment, gave us chase. Finding ourselves too slow of sail, we put on a compelled valor, and in the grapple I boarded them. On the instant they got clear of our ship, so I alone became their prisoner. They have dealt with me like thieves of mercy, but they knew what they did. I am to do a good turn for them. let the king have the letters I have sent, and repair thou to me with as much speed as thou wouldst fly death. I have words to speak in thine ear will make thee dumb. Yet are they much too light for the bore of the matter. This good fellow will bring thee where I am. Rosencrantz and Guildenstern hold their course for England. Of them I have much to tell thee. Farewell, he that thou knowest thine. Hamlet. Come, I will make you way for these your letters, and do it the speedier that you may direct me to him from whom you brought them.
Now must your conscience my acquaintance seal, and you must put me in your heart for friend, since you've heard, and with a knowing ear, that he which hath your noble father slain pursued my life.
It well appears, but tell me why you proceed not against these feats so crimeful and so capital in nature.
Oh, for two special reasons, which may to you seem perhaps much unsinewed, but yet to me they are strong. The queen, his mother, lives almost by his look, and for myself, my virtue or my plague, be it either which, she's so conjunctive to my life and soul, that as the star moves not but in a sphere, I could not but buy her. The other motive why to a public court I might not go is the great love the common people bear him.
So have I a noble father lost, a sister driven into desperate terms, whose worth, if praises may go back again, stood challenger on mount of all the age for her perfections. But my revenge will come.
Break not your sleeps for that. You must not think that we are made of stuff so flat and dull that we can let our bed be shook with danger and think it past time. I loved your father, and we love ourselves, and that I... Anna, what's news?
Letters, my lord, from Hamlet. This to your majesty, this to the queen.
From Hamlet? Who brought them?
Sailors, my lord. They sailed. I saw them not.
Laertes, you shall hear them. Leave us. High and mighty, you shall know I am set naked on your kingdom. Tomorrow shall I beg leave to see your kingly eyes, when I shall first, asking your pardon thereunto, recount the occasion of my sudden and more strange return, Hamlet. What should this mean? Are all the rest come back, or is it some abuse and no such thing?
Know you the hand?
It is Hamlet's character. Naked. And here in the postscript he says, alone. Can you advise me?
I'm lost in it, my lord. But let him come. It warms the very sickness in my heart that I shall live and tell him to his teeth, thou didst thus.
If it be so, Laertes, will you be ruled by me?
My lord, I will be ruled.
Was your father dear to you? Or are you like the painting of a sorrow, a face without a heart?
Why ask you this?
Hamlet comes back. What would you undertake to show yourself your father's son, indeed more than in words?
To cut his throat in the church.
No place, indeed, should murder sanctuarize. Revenge should have no bounds. But good Laertes, will you do this? Keep close within your chamber. Hamlet returned shall know you are come home. Will put on those shall praise your excellence, bring you in fine together, and wager in your heads. He, being remiss, most generous, and free from all contriving, will not peruse the foils, so that with ease or with a little shuffling, you may choose a sword unbaited, and in a passive practice, requite him for your father.
I will do it, and for that purpose I'll anoint my sword. I bought an unction of a mountebank, so mortal that, but dip a knife in it, where it draws blood, no cataclysm so rare can save a thing from death that is but scratched withal. I'll touch my point with this contagion, that if I gore him slightly, he may be death.
Let's further think on this. Weigh what convenience of both time and means
may fit us to our shape, and yet this project should have a back or a second. Soft. Let me see. I have it. When in your motion, you are hot and dry, as you make your bouts more violent to that end, and that he calls for drinks. I'll have prepared him a poison chalice, whereon but sipping, if he escape by chance, your venom sucked, our purpose may hold there. But stay, what noise? How now, sweet queen?
One who doth tread upon another's heel, so fast they follow. Your sisters drowned. Laertes.
Drowned? Oh. Where?
There is a willow grows aslant a brook that shows his whole leaves in the glassy stream. There, with fantastic garlands did she come, of crowflowers, nettles, daisies, and long purples, that our cold maids do dead men's fingers call. There on the pendant boughs, her coronet weeds clambering to hang, an envious liver broke, when down her witty trophies and herself fell in the weeping brook. Her clothes spread wide, and mermaid-like a while they bore her up, which time she chanted snatches of old tunes, as one incapable of her own distress, or like a creature native and endued unto that element. But long it could not be, till that her garments, heavy with their drink, pulled the poor wretch from her melodious lay to muddy death.
Alas, then she is drowned.
Drowned. Drowned.
Too much of water hast thou, poor Ophelia, and therefore I forbid my tears. But yet it is a trick. Nature her custom holds. Let shame say what it will. When these are gone, the woman will be out. Adieu, my lord. I have a speech of fire that fain would blaze, but that this folly douses it.
Let's follow Gertrude. What I had to do to calm his rage, and now, fear I, this will give it start again. Therefore, let's follow.
Is she to be buried in Christian burial, that wilfully seeks her own salvation?
I tell thee she is, therefore make her grave straight. The crowner hath sat on her and finds it Christian burial.
How can that be, unless she drowned herself in her own defence?
Why, 'tis found so.
It must be, in self-offence, it cannot be else. For here lies the point. If I drown myself wittingly, it argues an act. And an act have three branches. It is to act, to do, to perform. Our gal, she drowned herself wittingly.
Nay, but hear you, Goodman
Give me
Galbraith.
leave. Here lies the water. Good. Here stands the man. Good. If the man go to this water and drown himself, it is willy-nilly he goes. Mark you that. But if the water come to this man and drown him, he drowns not himself. Argal he that is not guilty of his own death shortens not his own life.
But is this law?
Aye, marry, this crowner's quest law.
Will you have truth on it? If this had not been a gentlewoman, she should have been buried outside Christian burial.
Thou sayest, and the more pity the great folk should have countenance in this world to drown or hang themselves more than they're even Christian. Come, my spade. Well, there is no ancient gentleman but gardeners, ditchers, grave makers. They hold up Adam's profession.
Was he a gentleman?
He was the first that ever bore arms.
Why, he had none.
What? Art a heathen? How dost thou understand the scripture? The scripture says Adam digged. Could he dig without arms? I'll put another question to thee. If thou answerest me not to the purpose, confess thyself.
Go to.
What is he that builds stronger than the mason, the shipwright, or the carpenter?
The gallows maker. For that frame outlives 1,000 tenants.
I like thy whip well, in good faith. How does the gallows well? It does well to those that do ill. Now thou dost ill to say that the gallows is built stronger than the church. Argal, the gallows will do well to thee. To it again, come.
Who builds stronger than a mason, a shipwright, or a carpenter?
Aye, tell me that, and unyoke.
Marry, now I can tell.
Oh, to it.
Mass, I cannot tell.
Cudgel thy brains no more about it, for your dull ass will not mend this pace with beating. And when you're asked this question next, say a grave maker. The houses that he makes last till doomsday. Go, get thee to your hands, fetch a stoop of liquor. In youth, when I did love, methought it was very sweet to contract the time on my behove. Oh, methought there was nothing meet.
This fellow no feeling of his business, that he sings at grave making.
Custom hath made it in a property of easiness.
But age, with his stealing steps, have clawed me in his clutch and shipped me unto the land. As if I had ever been such.
That skull had a tongue in it and could sing once. How the knave jowls it to the ground, as if to a Cain's jawbone that did the first murder. It might be the pate of a politician which this ass now o'erreaches. One that would circumvent God, might it not?
It might, my lord.
E'en so. Now my lady worms. Chapless and knocked about the mazzard with a sexton's spade. Here's fine revolution, and we had the trick to see it.
A pickaxe and a spade, for an shrouding sheet. Oh, a pit of clay yet to be made, for such a guest is meet.
There's another. Why, may not that be the skull of a lawyer? Where be his cases, his tenures and his tricks? Why does he suffer this rude knave now to knock him about the sconce with a dirty shovel and will not tell him of his action of battery? This fellow might be in his time a great buyer of land, with his statutes, his fines, his recoveries. Is this the fine of his fines and the recovery of his recoveries, to have his fine paid for the fine dirt?
Not a jot more, my lord.
Speak with this fellow. Whose grave's this? Sirrah?
Mine, sir. A pit of clay yet to...
I think it be thine indeed, for thou liest in it.
You do not lie in it, sir. Therefore it is not yours. For my part, I do not lie in it, and yet it is mine.
Thou dost lie in it, be in it, and say it is thine. 'Tis for the dead. Not for the quick, therefore thou liest.
'Tis a quick lie, sir. 'Twill away again, from me to you.
What man dost thou dig it for?
For no man, sir.
What woman, then?
For none neither.
Who is to be buried in it?
One that was a woman, but, rest her soul, she's dead.
How absolute the knave is. We must speak by the card, or equivocation will undo us. How long hast thou been grave maker?
Oh, of all the days of the year, it was that day that our old King Hamlet overcame Fortinbras.
How long is that since?
Cannot you tell that? Every fool can tell that. It was the very day that our young Hamlet was born, he that is mad and sent into England.
Aye. Marry. Why was he sent into England?
Why? Because he was mad. He'll recover his wits there. If not, it's no great matter there.
Why?
Well, 'twill not be seen in him there. There, the men are as mad as he.
How came he mad?
Very strangely, they say.
How strangely?
In faith, with losing his wits.
Upon what grounds?
Why, here in Denmark. Yeah, I've been sexton here, man and boy, for 30 years.
How long will a man lie in the earth ere he rot?
Oh, faith, if he be not rotten before he die, as we have many pocky courses nowadays that'll scarce hold the lane in, he'll last you some 8 year, 9 year. Tanner last you 9 year.
Why he more than another?
Why, sir, his hide is so tanned with his trade that he keeps our water a great while, and your water is a sore decayer of your horse and dead body. Here's a skull, sir. This skull have lain in the earth 23 years.
Whose was it?
Horse and mad fellows it was. Whose do you think it was?
Nay, I know not.
Oh, a pestilence on him for a mad rogue. Poured a flagon of Rhenish on my head once. This skull, sir, was Yorick's skull, the king's jester.
This?
E'en that.
Let me see. Alas, poor Yorick. I knew him, Horatio. Fellow of infinite jest, most excellent fancy. He hath borne me on his back 1,000 times, and now how abhorred in my imagination it is. My gorge rises at it. Here hung those lips that I have kissed, I know not how oft. Where be your jibes now? Your gambols, your songs, your flashes of merriment that will want to set the table on a roar. Not one now to mock your own grinning, quite chap fallen. Now, get you to my lady's chamber and tell her, let her paint an inch thick to this favour. She must come. Make her laugh at that. Prithee, Horatio, tell me one thing.
What's that, my
Dost
lord?
thou think Alexander looked to this fashion in the earth?
E'en so.
Smelt so?
E'en so, my lord.
To what base uses we may return, Horatio? Why may not imagination trace the noble dust of Alexander till it find it stopping a bunghole?
'Twere to consider too curiously, to consider so.
Oh, faith, not the jot. As thus, Alexander died, Alexander was buried, Alexander returneth to dust. The dust is earth, of earth we make loam, and why of that loam whereto he was converted might he not stop beer barrel? Imperious Caesar, dead and turned to clay, might stop a hole to keep the wind away. Oh, that earth which kept the world in awe, should patch a wall to expel the winter's flaw. Soft. Soft aside. Here comes a king, the queen. Who is this they follow? With such maimed rites, this doth betoken the corpse they follow, did with desperate hand fordo its own life. 'Twas of some estate, couch we a while and mark.
What ceremony else?
Her obsequies have been as far enlarged as we have warranty. Her death was doubtful, and but that great command o'ersways the order, she should in ground unsanctified have lodged till the last trumpet. For charitable prayers, shards, flints, and pebbles should be thrown on her. Yet here she has allowed her virgin rites, her maiden instruments, and the bringing home of bell and burial.
Must there no more be done?
No more be done. Should profane the service of the dead to sing a requiem and such rest to her as to peace-parted souls.
Lay her in the earth. From her fair and unpolluted flesh may violets spring. I tell thee, churlish priest, a ministering angel shall my sister be when thou liest howling.
Sweet to the sweet.
The fair Ophelia.
Farewell. I hoped thou shouldst have been my Hamlet's wife. I thought thy bright bed to have decked, sweet maid, and not have stood thy grave.
Oh, treble woe! Fall 10 times treble on that cousin, and whose wicked deed thy most ingenious sense deprived thee of. And hold off the other while, till I have caught her once more in my arms.
My lord.
Now pile your dust upon the quick and dead, till of this flat a mountain you have made, towards up old Pelion or the skyish head of blue Olympus.
What is he whose grief bears such an emphasis? This is I, Hamlet, the Dane.
The devil take thy soul!
Oh, I am not splenitive and rash, yet have I in me something dangerous, which let thy wisdom fear. Hold off thy hand. Why? I will fight him upon this theme until my eyelids will no longer wag.
My son, what theme?
I loved Ophelia. 40,000 brothers cannot with all their quantity of love make up my sum. What wilt thou do for her?
Laertes, use map.
For love of God, forbear him.
Zoons, show me what thou would do. We'd weep, we'd fight, we'd fast, we'd tear thyself, we'd drink up easel, eat a crocodile. I'll do it. Dost thou come here to whine, to outface me with leaping in her grave? Be buried quick with her, and so will I. And if thou prate of mountains, let them throw millions of acres on us till our ground, singeing his pate against the burning zone, make Ossa like a wart. Nay, and thou'lt mouth, I'll rant as well as thou.
This is mere madness, and thus a while the fit will work on him.
Hear you, sir. What reason do you use me thus? I loved you ever, but it is no matter. Let Hercules himself do what he may. The cat will mew, and dog will have his day.
Good Horatio, wait upon him, I pray you. Strengthen your patience in our last night's speech. We'll put the matter to the present push. Good Gertrude, set some watch over your son. This grave shall have a living monument. An hour of quiet shortly shall we see. Until then, in patience our proceeding be.
So much for this, sir. Now, shall you see the other? You do remember all the circumstance?
Remember it, my lord.
Sir, in my heart there was this kind of fighting that would not let me sleep. Rashly, and praise be rashness for it, let us know our indiscretion sometimes serves us well when our deep plots do pall, and that should teach us there's a divinity that shapes our ends, rough hew them how we will.
That is most certain.
Up from my cabin, my sea gown scarfed about me, in the dark groped I to find out them at my desire. Fingered their packet, and in fine withdrew to mine own room again, making so bold my fears, forgetting manners, to unseal their grand commission, where I found Horatio, royal knavery, an exact command, larded with many several sorts of reasons, importing Denmark's health, and England's too, that on the supervise, no leisure bated, no, not to stay the grinding of the axe, my head should be struck off.
Is it possible?
Wilt thou hear me? How I did proceed?
I beseech you.
Being thus benetted round with villainies, ere I could make a prologue to my brain, they had begun the play. I sat me down, devised a new commission, wrote it fair, an earnest conjuration from the king, as England was his faithful tributary, as love between them like the palm might flourish, that on the viewing of these contents, without debatement further more or less, he should the bearers put to sudden death, not shriving time allowed.
How was this sealed?
Why, even in that was heaven ordinate. I had my father's signet in my purse.
So, Guildenstern and Rosencrantz, go to it.
Why, man, they did make love to this employment. They are not near my conscience. Their defeat was by their own insinuation grow. It is dangerous when the baser nature comes between the past and fell insensate points of mighty opposites.
Why, what a king is this?
Does it not? Think thee, stand me now upon, he that hath killed my king and whored my mother, popped in between the election and my hopes, thrown out his angle for my proper life, and with such cozenage. It's not perfect conscience to quit him with this arm, and is not to be damned to let this canker of our nature come in further evil.
It must be shortly known to him from England what is the issue of the business there.
The interim is mine, and a man's life is no more than to say one. But I am very sorry, good Horatio, that to Laertes I forgot myself. For by the image of my cause I see the portraiture of his. I'll court his favours. For sure, the bravery of his grief did put me into a towering passion.
Peace. Who comes here?
Your lordship is right welcome back to Denmark.
I humbly thank you, sir. Dost know this waterfly?
No, my good lord.
Sweet lord, if your lordship were at leisure, I should impart a thing to you from his majesty.
I will receive it, sir, with all diligence of spirit. Put your bonnet to his right use. 'Tis for the head.
I thank your lordship, it is very hot.
I think it's very cold. The wind is northerly.
It is indifferent cold, my lord, indeed.
And yet methinks it is very sultry and hot for my complexion.
Exceedingly, my lord, it is very sultry, as 'twere... I cannot tell how. But, my lord, his majesty bade me signify to you that he has laid a great wager on your head. Sir, this is the matter.
I do beseech you. Remember.
Nay, good my lord, for mine ease, in good faith. Sir, here is newly come to court Laertes, believe me, an absolute gentleman of very soft society and great showing. Indeed, to speak feelingly of him, he's the calendar of gentry. I know you're not ignorant of what excellence Laertes is. I mean, sir, for his weapon.
What's his weapon?
Rapier. The king hath laid that in a dozen passes between yourself and him, he shall not exceed you 3 hits, and it would come to immediate trial if your lordship would vouchsafe the answer.
How if I answer no?
I mean, my lord, the opposition of your person in trial.
Sir, I will walk here in the hall. If it please his majesty, 'tis the breathing time of day with me. Let the foils be brought, the gentleman willing, the king hold his purpose, and I'll win for him, and I can. If not, I gain nothing but my shame and the odd hits.
Shall I redeliver you in so?
To this effect, sir, I am constant to my purpose. I follow the king's pleasure. If his fitness speaks, mine's ready now, whensoever, provided I be as able as now.
The king and queen and all are coming down.
Happy time.
The queen desires you to use some gentle entertainment to Laertes before you fall to play.
She well instructs me.
You will lose this wager, my lord.
I do not think so. Since he went into France, I've been in continual practice. I will win at the odds. But thou wouldst not think how ill all's here about my heart. That's no matter.
Nay, good my lord.
That is but foolery.
If your mind dislike anything, obey it. I will forestall their repair hither and say you are not
Not a whit. We defy augury. There's a special providence in the fall of a sparrow. If it be now, 'tis not to come. If it be not to come, it will be now. If it be not now, yet it will come. The readiness is all, since no man knows aught of what he leaves. What is it to leave betimes? Let be!
Come, Hamlet, come. Take this hand from me.
Give me your pardon, sir. I've done you wrong, but pardon it as you are a gentleman. Sir, this presence knows, and you must needs have heard, how I am punished with sore distraction. What I have done, that might your nature, honor, and exception roughly awake, I here proclaim was madness. Was it Hamlet wrong, Laertes? Never Hamlet. If Hamlet be from himself taken away, and when he's not himself does wrong, Laertes, Hamlet does it not. Hamlet denies it. Who does it then? His madness. If it be so, Hamlet is of the faction that is wrong. His madness is poor Hamlet's enemy. Sir, in this audience, let my disclaiming from a purposed evil free me so far in your most generous thoughts that I have shot mine arrow over the house and hurt my brother.
I am satisfied in nature, whose motive in this case should stir me most to my revenge. And in my terms of honour, I do receive your offered love like love, and will not wrong it.
I embrace it freely, and will this brother's wager frankly play? Give us the foils, come.
Come, one for me.
Give them the foils, young Osric.
Cousin Hamlet, you know the wager?
Very well, my lord. Your grace have laid the odds on the weaker side.
I do not fear it. I have seen you both.
This likes me well. These foils have all a length.
Aye, my good lord.
This is too heavy. Let me see another.
Set me the stoops of wine upon that table. If Hamlet give the first or second hit, or quit in answer of the third exchange, let all the battlements their ordnance fire. The king shall drink to Hamlet's better breath, and in the cup an union shall he throw, richer than that which 4 successive kings in Denmark's crown have worn. Now the king drinks to Hamlet. Come, begin.
And you, the judges, bear a wary eye.
Come, on, sir.
Come, my lord.
What?
No!
Judgment. A hit, a very palpable hit.
Well, again.
Stay.
Hamlet, this pearl is thine. Here's to thy health.
I'll play this bout first. Set it by a while. Come! Another hit, what say you?
A touch, I do confess.
Our son shall win.
He's fat and scant of breath. Here, Hamlet, take my napkin. Rub thy brow.
Good, madam.
Gertrude, do not drink.
I will, my lord. I pray you pardon me. The queen carouses to thy fortune, Hamlet.
Come, for the third, Laertes. You but dally.
Come, Hamlet. Let me wipe thy face.
I pray you. Pass with your best violence.
Say you so.
Nothing, neither way.
You know.
Nay, come again!
Look to the queen there! How is it, my lord? How is it, Laertes?
Well, like a woodcock to my own springe, Osric. Justly killed by my own treachery.
How does the queen?
The drink! The drink! My dear Hamlet! The drink! I'm poisoned.
Villainy! Treachery, seek it out!
It is here, Hamlet. Hamlet, thou art slain. No medicine in the world can do thee good. In thee there is not half an hour of life. Thy treacherous instrument is in thy hand, unbaited and envenomed. Thy mother's poisoned. I can no more. The king's to blame.
The point. And venom too. Then venom to thy work. Now incestuous, murderous, damn the Dane. Follow my mother.
Exchange forgiveness with me, noble Hamlet. Mine and my father's death come not upon thee, nor thine on me.
Heaven make thee free of it. I follow thee.
I am dead! Horatio! Wretched queen. Adieu. You that look pale and tremble at this chance, that are but mutes or audience to this act, had I time, as this fell Sergeant Death is strict in his arrest, oh, I could tell you. But let be. Horatio, I am dead. Thou livest. Report me and my cause aright to the unsatisfied.
Never believe it. I'm more an antique Roman than a Dane. There's yet some liquor left.
As thou art a man, by heaven let be. Oh, good Horatio. What a wounded name. And the things standing thus unknown shall live behind me. If thou didst ever hold me in thy heart, absent thee from felicity a while, and in this harsh world draw thy breath in pain to tell my story. What warlike noise is this?
Young Fortinbras, with conquest come from Poland, to the ambassador of England gives this warlike volley.
Oh, I die! Horatio, I cannot live to hear the news from England. But I do prophesy the election lights on Fortinbras. He has my dying voice. So tell him, with the occurrence more or less, which have solicited. The rest is silence.
Now cracks a noble heart. Good night, sweet prince, and flights of angels sing thee to thy rest. Why does the drum come hither?
Where is this sight?
What is it you would see? If aught of woe or wonder, cease your search.
O proud death, what feast is towards in thine eternal cell, that thou so many princes at a shot so bloodily hast struck?
So our affairs from England come too late. The ears are senseless that should give us hearing. To tell him his commandment is fulfilled, that Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead. Where should we have our thanks?
Not from his mouth. Had it the ability of life to thank you, he never gave commandment for their death. But since, so jump upon this bloody question, you from the Polack wars and you from England are here arrived, give order that these bodies, high on a stage, be placed to the view, and let me speak to the yet unknowing world how these things came about. So shall you hear of carnal, bloody, and unnatural acts, of accidental judgments, casual slaughters, of deaths put on by cunning and forced cause, and in this upshot, purposes mistook, fallen on the inventor's head. All this can I truly deliver.
Let us haste to hear it, and call the noblest to the audience.
For me, with sorrow, I embrace my fortune. I have some rights of memory to this kingdom.
Of that I shall have also cause to speak, and from his mouth whose voice will draw on more. But let the same be presently performed, even while men's minds are wild, lest more mischance on plots and errors happen.
Take up the bodies.